Good afternoon, Brave Nation. Welcome to Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field at Grace P. Johnson Stadium, where today it's the homecoming game for the UNCP Braves football team as they take on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. Thank you so much for joining us. Joe, a tall order on hand for the Braves this afternoon as the Golden Tigers come into the game 4-0 on the season, one of 26 remaining unbeatens in Division II college football. But the status of the playing field and the weather might be the biggest story.
Yeah, certainly with now 3 or 4 straight days of rain here in Pembroke, that field is absolutely soaked. We saw just a few minutes ago when the teams were on the field for their warm-ups. Every step that everybody was taking, a big splash of water was coming up right next to them. That is going to be the story of this game, is that muddy field and the havoc that's going to end up wreaking as that football gets wet and wet and wet.
Well, both teams kind of favor the run, and not a lot of throwing action for either team, so that could help. And in a situation like that, the Braves, I think, are pretty clear underdogs in today's game. They're coming off a pretty severe beating at the hands of the North Greenville Crusaders. They were down 34-0 at halftime, ended up dropping the game 40-17. So the Braves now 3-1 on the season against this 4-0 Tuskegee team. Two good teams, good programs in Division II college football, but in a situation where I think Tuskegee's probably the better team on paper. You're playing your homecoming game on your home field, and it's going to be a really sloppy, wet kind of condition. As an aside, give a lot of credit to the grounds crew for even making this field even close to playable here. They were really out there working hard and had the squeegee out there on the field. But anyway, I think it almost favors the Braves a little bit. It could help close the gap between the two teams.
It certainly could, and of course also the home field advantage of at least, if you're going to play in the bad weather and maybe be a little bit of an underdog coming into the game, at least you'd like to be at home where you've got the atmosphere, especially with this being homecoming weekend here at UNCP. That plays in the favor of the Braves as well. And if their front four can come up big and try and stifle some of the rushing attack that Tuskegee has been able to mount this season, averaging over 170 yards per game on the ground, scoreboard could look very favorable for the Braves at the end of this one.
Could be a low-scoring game, but talking about that Tuskegee rushing attack, it's led by their junior quarterback, Kevin Lacey. That's right, the quarterback is the leading rusher for the Golden Tigers. 29 carries for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Tyree Brooks, their starter, they just got him back last week from injury, 8 carries for 25 yards in his debut against Lane last week. And we'll also see some of Keno Loyal, who has 30 carries for 147 yards. The big injury, though, for the Golden Lions, he was out last week, he'll be out again this week. The senior, a transfer from the University of Michigan. That's right, he left Ann Arbor to come to Tuskegee. Dennis Norfleet, not going to be in action today for Tuskegee.
Yeah, he is their second leading rusher, and their leading rusher who isn't the quarterback, 151 yards, averaging almost 7 yards on the ground every time that he carries the ball this year. He also plays big in their return game as well, so his injury, he missed last week's game, he's out again this week, is going to play big for the Golden Tigers today.
A little bit more on Dennis Norfleet, because it's such an interesting story. You talked a little bit about the return game. These are the stats for him in the return game. 6 kick returns for 179 yards. That means about 30 yards per return on the kickoff. Also, 6 punt returns for 36 yards. He has the capability of making big plays. He played 3 years at the University of Michigan. After those 3 years, he left the program, came to Tuskegee. He is right now the all-time leader at the University of Michigan. They've been playing football there for more than 100 years, in total kick returns with 90 and total career kick return yards with 2,200. He is a Tuskegee Golden Lion, but we will not see him today. He is a real playmaker, and they will definitely miss his impact both in the special teams and on the ground, especially with the wet playing conditions. I don't expect to see Kevin Lacey throwing the ball much today. In 4 games, he's attempted just 86 passes and completed 42%.
But also, if you look at something else that plays in the hands of UNCP, is in terms of the offensive line of the Golden Tigers, Cameron Stuttles and Vincent Williams, the 2 normal starting guards, both out, as well as Carlton Antoine, the normal starting center, is out for the game as well. So 3/5 of the Golden Tigers offensive line, who open up the holes for all those rushing yards, not playing in this game. Got to figure with the inexperience along the offensive line, that's another thing that plays in the Braves' hands.
And we'll talk about the other side of the ball right now when the Golden Lions have the ball, is that UNCP's defense. You mentioned the front four. Mike Keck is probably the key guy there. Leads the team with 6 sacks and 8 tackles for a loss on season, both near the top in not just the region but all of Division II college football. And the rest of that defensive line for the Braves looks like this. Austin Locklear is a redshirt sophomore from Pembroke. He plays one defensive tackle spot. So does Marquin Hill, and then Tyler Hinton on the other defensive end. We'll also see some Khalil Vance, Aris Brooks, Marcus Rayner, and Ed Hopper as they really rotate that front four out, which frees up a lot of opportunities for the linebacking core. Garrett Barnett, Elijah Williams, and Chris Phipps, all really able to make some plays. So it's really the front seven for the Braves. It starts with the front four, and then those three linebackers also make big plays.
Yeah, Garrett Barnett has been absolutely huge in his redshirt freshman season. 25 tackles, which leads the entire defense. He's had at least 6 tackles every week, so it's not only that, but it's been consistent play out of Barnett as well, and the junior Elijah Williams has been a rock right in the middle.
Now, talk about the defensive backfield for the Braves. Mike Lawrence, Kendall Jacobs, Tyreek Holloway, and Rod Butts will be getting the start. His first career start at one of the cornerback spots. They've been solid so far this season, if not, if unspectacular at times. They've certainly been solid. There could be some favorable matchups for them defensively against a receiving core for Tuskegee that doesn't really jump off the page at me. Their leading guy is Markel Gardner, 7 catches for 88 total yards and 2 touchdowns, a long reception of just 18 yards. He is a senior with more than 100 career receptions to his name, but they don't really throw the ball all over the field that much. And again, we'll keep talking about the wet conditions on the field because it continues to be relevant and important. I think the Braves have an opportunity to really make some big defensive stops, and third down, I think, will be the story. Yeah,
certainly. You hit it right on the head when you said they're not a team that throws it all over. Just 86 passing attempts for the entire season. Compare that to Patrick O'Brien, who's had 78 completions for the Braves this season. And a lot of times we talk about how, well, O'Brien's been a little bit shaky and up and down. He's had his good moments, his bad moments, but still, the Braves are a team that passes it a whole heck of a lot more than Tuskegee does. They rely so much on that ground game, which could be a good factor for them today with the wet weather.
And talking about the third downs just a little bit more, the big game for UNCP was against Shaw 2 weeks ago, their last win, the last time they were here. Shaw was 1 for 11 on third down attempts in that game. That's 9% conversions on third down. On the season, UNCP is allowing their opponents to convert just 23.5% on third downs. And I'm not sure it's going to be any different when Tuskegee has the ball, as they are converting just 23% with their offense. They're a 4-0 team, and they're converting less than a quarter of their third down attempts. If the Braves' defense is up to par, I really don't see how Tuskegee will have too much success mounting long drives. I think if any team is going to score, it might have to be on one of those splash plays.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you're looking at Tuskegee, when you're averaging over 5 yards per rush on the ground this season, you're not finding yourself in a whole lot of third down situations.
It looks like we're going to take a break here for the national anthem in Pembroke as the colors are being presented. The homecoming game for UNCP as they're taking on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. The Braves pregame show will be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Braves pregame show with Joe Vasile. I'm Cameron Songer. The homecoming football game for UNCP less than 10 minutes away as they will take on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers, a team that was 9-3 a year ago. Compare that to just 2-8 for the Braves. And you could already say, Joe, this season has been somewhat of a success in the second campaign at the helm for Shane Richardson.
Well, you definitely came into this year with higher expectations, especially coming off the 2-8 season. You looked at a lot of guys who had redshirted last year coming back, namely Patrick O'Brien at the quarterback position, just the most important position if you had to signal one out on the entire football field. Getting that leadership in there, it has made a difference. The stats might not necessarily show it with relation to some of the things on offense, but a lot of control over there. And a 3-1 record through the first 4 weeks. I think if you went back to preseason and said to Shane Richardson, you're going to be 3-1 heading into the Tuskegee game, he would take that.
This has been one of the big games on the schedule for UNCP. Obviously, you don't want to look too far ahead, but I remember even after week 1 or week 2 of the season when the Braves started off with big wins against Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State, both rivalry wins for the Braves, we were already looking ahead to October 17th, that big road game against North Alabama, a perennial top 10, top 25 team in Division II college football. Well, the Braves have another top 25 opponent on the field on the opposite sideline right now, right here today. Braves 1-0 this season against top 25 competition. When they played Winston-Salem State to open the season. Obviously, Winston-Salem State has kind of proved since then that they didn't really belong. They didn't really deserve that top 25 preseason ranking. They were a little bit overrated as the Braves beat them. That was a 17-7 final, and then Tuskegee also handled the Rams of Winston-Salem State by 2 scores. So that's the only common opponent between these two teams. It's hard to really compare Tuskegee and UNCP off of common opponents alone because both teams beat Winston-Salem State this year.
Yeah, it certainly is, but one of the things that really sticks out with Tuskegee is they are a very well-coached team. Willie Slater is their head coach. He's 85-21. This is his 10th year at the helm of the program, so he's found instantaneous success and kept it up over a decade, leading the Golden Tigers. But that being said, horribly undisciplined this year, averaging almost 120 penalty yards per game.
And let's take a look now. We before the break, before the anthem, we talked about when the Golden Tigers have the ball. You kind of already talked a little bit about Patrick O'Brien. Let's talk about when the Braves have the ball. Patrick O'Brien's favorite target in the passing game is B.J. Bunn. He's caught a touchdown in all 4 games this season, 18 catches for 225 yards, long of just 31. So he's not really a deep threat kind of guy, but he is a guy who can make catches or make plays after the catch. The running game is big for the Braves, and it will be another big factor here today with the wet field and perhaps more rain rolling in this afternoon. Rontonio Stanley, Cliff Jones, Brian Staten, and DeMonte Rem. 4 backs who all get carries in the running game for the Braves. Rontonio Stanley leads the way with 31 carries for 126 yards. Cliff Jones also over the century mark. He's at 100 yards even with 28 carries. And Brian Staten, 19 carries for 106 yards. And then Rem is kind of the power back.
Yeah, 21 carries for just 64 yards. But again, like you said, he's that power back. Also, just a freshman as well. So he's kind of, as of right now, last in that rotation. But it's a very good rotation that the Braves have. You'll see Stanley for a couple drives. Then Jones will come in, give a little bit of a different look. And they've been able to have success with that. Still averaging just about under 100 yards on the ground per game. But a lot of that is because a lot of times the Braves offense is starting off with a pretty good field position because of the defense. Another note, B.J. Bunn averaging 7 catches a game here at Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field. Just 2 catches per game when they're on the road, so we'll see if that trend continues this week.
Some of the other receivers to look out for, John Rich, JoJo Spann, and Jonathan Huff will all rotate in, as well as Aaron Clay, Teron Huffman, Rick Mack, and John Allen. Boy, it can be tough at times to keep up with who the Braves have out there at wide receiver. They use 4 different running backs and 8 different wide receivers. Not to mention the tight end. Zelius Mora will get the nod. He moved up from number 2 to number 1 on the tight end depth chart, and that pushes Stedman Rush down to the number 2 spot. We'll probably see some of both of them, especially if the Braves get into the red zone. The Golden Tigers know they can focus in on the run. The Braves might have to counter by going with some play action. That's how they got their first touchdown last week, was out of kind of a power set. I like when the Braves do that at any point on the field, but especially in the red zone. And the Braves also breaking in a new center here today.
Yeah, it'll be Charles Holloway getting the start at center as he and Jared Johnson have flipped. Holloway is a redshirt junior from Salisbury, North Carolina, 6'1", 280, gives a little bit of a smaller look at center field, but a little bit more nimble than Johnson, who had been the starter the first 4 weeks.
Braves getting ready to come out of the tunnel for the homecoming football game. We'll take a quick moment to talk about the Tuskegee defense. Their star player on defense is a transfer from the University of Kentucky, two-time SIAC Defensive Player of the Week, and a preseason All-American in Division II. That's Jewel Ratliff. He's the team leader in tackles, and he is a beast.
Yeah, he's 46 tackles through the first 4 weeks. That's almost 12 per game, but also 6 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and 2 interceptions as well. He plays the run well. He's very active in the pass game, always getting his hands up, deflecting balls. He is the beast right in the middle, number 51 for the Golden Tigers. For those following along on the video stream, he's the one to keep an eye on defense. But also don't fall asleep on the strong side linebacker, Osmond Thompson. 35 tackles for him and a fumble force this year.
They also will be having a change at the last moment at the defensive end spot. Julian Morgan ruled out for this game as the Braves are taking the field, getting ready for their homecoming football game. Tuskegee coming out of the visitors' locker room in just a moment. And what an atmosphere this has the potential to be as fans continuing to make their way into the stadium. Tailgating, you think about tailgating for the homecoming football game is something fans circle on their calendars, and then the big storm kind of puts a wrench in a lot of people's plans.
It certainly does, but as with all homecoming games, I'm sure people will be out in the parking lot tailgating until at least midway through the first quarter before the fans really start filing in and making this a great atmosphere where it's been all season long for the Braves in their 2 home games. Very nice crowds, and the team really feeds off the energy here from Lumbee Guarantee Bank's field. I wouldn't expect anything different today.
Captains meeting at midfield for the coin toss. The captains for UNCP, Patrick O'Brien, the quarterback, not a surprise. John Rich, the redshirt senior wide receiver, and the defensive captains are Kendall Jacobs and Mike Keck. All seniors, with the exception of O'Brien, who is a redshirt junior transfer from UNC Charlotte. Let's figure out what's happening with the coin toss. It looks like Tuskegee has won the toss and elected to defer, so the Braves will be getting the ball to start the game. Still 2 minutes on the clock before the opening kick set to happen as the Golden Tigers making their way from the locker room towards the field of play, and then they're going to run through a banner here before we get started.
Yeah, I was going to say, looks like they've brought their banner, their cheerleaders holding it up for them to go run through. You don't often see the teams running through the banner when they're on the road.
I think it's an attitude thing. I think it's making a statement because they had covered a walkway. They try to keep the players' cleats off the track from tearing up the track too much. A brand new track here at Grace P. Johnson Stadium, the Dick and Lenore Taylor track around Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field. And the Golden Tigers decided, you know what, we're going to run onto the field wherever we want.
Yes.
So there might be some discussion about that because that's not very courteous, I would say, is the first word that comes to mind. Most facilities people probably wouldn't appreciate that.
No, certainly not, but that's all part of the gamesmanship, I suppose. And with the way that this field's about to get torn up, or at least we would imagine it's about to get torn up, considering how much water is down on it, well, the track might be the least of everyone's worries by the time this one's done.
Well, the good news for the field of play is that this game for the Braves is their 3rd of 5 home games on the season, but they won't return home again until Halloween, October 31st, when they take on West Virginia State. So 3 full weeks for the field, the grounds crew, the people to get the field back into excellent playing condition. Really, it's been hard to complain about the quality of the field of play so far this season. It's been a really good place to play. Really haven't seen any issues with the field of play. A nice natural grass playing surface. We were worried before today's game that might be a problem, that it would be too much underwater and we would have to move our broadcast to somewhere else. The turf field at Fayetteville State University came to mind, but that's 45 minutes away, and I think everyone happy here that the Braves are able to host their homecoming game on their actual campus.
Yeah, that's always nice to not have to move your homecoming game, especially, but really just not to have to move at all, to be able to play here at home. And like I said, kudos to everyone for getting this field ready to play, and not only ready to play, but ready to play on time as well. There was some doubts whether they might have to delay the opening. Obviously, here we are. The ball's teed up, and we're just about set to go.
2:05 p.m., 68 degrees and cloudy at kickoff. We might see about a 30% chance of rain, and with maybe a little bit of lightning and thunder coming in about an hour. That's the weather forecast in Pembroke right now, but so far it's no precipitation in the air right now. The Golden Tigers will be kicking off from their own 35-yard line, going from left to right across your radio dial. They're wearing white tops, pants that are white in the front and crimson in the back. They have red numbers and red helmets. And the Braves in all black with their white numbers. They wore those on the road last week against North Greenville. And once again, we're seeing code black in the all black look. Kicking off for the Golden Tigers is number 19, Kemuel Lawrence. Back deep to return for the Braves, JoJo Spann and Teron Huffman. And we are underway. It's a low kick. Bounces at the 10-yard line, scooped up by Huffman at the 10-yard line. He's taken along the right side, breaks through one tackle across the 30, still on his feet to the 35, 40, and he's taken down at the 41-yard line. A good start for Teron Huffman and the Braves.
Yeah, and that play didn't get off to a great start for Teron Huffman. The ball landed right in front of him and then came up, hit him in the leg, so he had to reach down and scoop that ball up from about the 9-yard line, and then he just did a great job breaking a couple of tackles and bringing it out across the 40-yard line, making a very good return out of something that could have been disastrous.
And he bent over at the waist to pick that one up. A lot of coaches will look at that on film and say, that's not an athletic stance, but suddenly the play really opened up for him. Patrick O'Brien leads the Braves onto the field for the first time. Rontonio Stanley is to his right as the Braves are in a shotgun formation. One tight end, two receivers to the left, one to the right. Motion man, the snap is low. O'Brien drops back to pass. He has time, throws over the middle, incomplete, looking for JoJo Spann, and they'll bring up 2nd and 10.
And that was a missed opportunity by Patrick O'Brien. He had JoJo Spann matched up against a linebacker, Jason Ashley. A little bit of a speed mismatch that time, but he just threw the ball a little bit too much behind Spann to get it to him, who was in behind him already.
2nd and 10 from their own 41-yard line. 14:47 on the first quarter game clock as we are just getting underway from Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. The Braves and the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. O'Brien in the shotgun. Motion man from left to right is Spann. And he will just hand off up the middle. This is Stanley. He breaks through to the 50, 45, spinning. He's still on his feet, 40, 35, and he's taken down into Golden Tigers territory. First down, Braves.
And what a huge hole was opened up right up the middle in the A-gap between Charles Holloway and the left guard, Chris Hassard, that Stanley was able to just explode right through. It was 8 yards before anybody even got a hand on him.
And then the yards after contact for number 31, Rontonio Stanley, getting the start. Now they'll substitute some players in and out. Martin Munn had come in the game as a fullback and then leaves before he even gets a snap. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Play clock at 11 for O'Brien. He's in a pistol formation from their opponent's 34-yard line. Handoff up the middle to Stanley. He bounces off right tackle and is taken down for a gain of about 1.
It was Osmond Thompson making the stop for the Golden Tigers that time. A much better job of their front seven, of plugging up the gaps and forcing Stanley to try and get that one to the outside where Thompson was there creating the edge.
Starters for the Braves on the offensive line, Lawrence Keys, Chris Hassard, Charles Holloway III, DeMarcus Whitehurst, and Jaden Funderburk. And in the receivers spots, it's JoJo Spann, John Rich, and B.J. Bunn. Patrick O'Brien is the quarterback with Rontonio Stanley, the receiver, and Zelius Morrow starts at tight end for UNCP. 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Shotgun snap, play action. Now O'Brien will take it up the middle. He has a little bit of room, and he dives down inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line, and the Braves will have 3rd and short.
Head-first dive by O'Brien that time. Not necessarily the textbook dive, but it got the job done well as he was able to protect the football as a player for the Golden Tigers was coming in right at his back.
No huddle here for the Braves as they're looking at the play cards, and they will get the play call. O'Brien walks up to the line, points out these signals. Two receivers to the left and a tight end to the left side as well. That's Bunn on the right side. O'Brien in the shotgun. He rolls the pocket to the left, looking short. Now he has to make something happen. Throws, and it's incomplete. Off-balance throw there, looking for Zelius Morrow. Couldn't get it to him. That brings up 4th and 3 from the Golden Tigers' 27-yard line, and a decision here for the Braves offense.
Well, looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field and go for it.
So O'Brien didn't like what he saw at first as he rolled to the left side, thought about the throw, then thought about tucking and running, and then at the last second while he was starting to get hit, kind of threw off the back foot and couldn't connect with the tight end Morrow. So 4th and 3 from their opponent's 27-yard line. Braves offense is on the field, 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. O'Brien in the shotgun, play clock down to 5 as he looks over to the sideline. Game clock stopped at 12:52, and now Patrick O'Brien will take time out. We'll keep it here during this timeout on the field. Joe, what do you think about the decision to keep the offense on the field?
Well, I'm not so sure that now maybe they don't run Matt Davis out there to go kick about a 43-yard field goal from this point, maybe 44-yard field goal. Just trying to send the offense out there, see if you can draw the Golden Tigers offside, run the play clock all the way down, take the timeout, and now go out and try and kick the field goal. As it appears as Davis is now out on the field starting to warm his legs up, that was the plan. But honestly, going forward at this point with the field conditions being what it was, I think that maybe would have played a bit of a factor in that decision, not maybe wanting to kick off of such unsolid ground.
The flip side of that argument is that it might be so hard to move the ball, especially if there ends up being more rain in this game, that any opportunity to get points and get them on the board in the early going. Matt Davis has been pretty good this year. He's 5 for 5 on field goals, 7 for 7 on extra point attempts, a long of just 36, and he was out there just warming up his leg. He's not out on the field right now. The offense comes back out onto the field, and the Braves will have 4th and 3 from their opponent's 27-yard line. Still no score in the game as we're about 2 minutes in.
Yeah, perhaps he was just out there as a deke to try and get the Golden Tigers think that they're going to go for a field goal so that they send out some improper personnel to the field.
Braves go quickly. Motion man from right to left. O'Brien play fake. Now throws left side. He has span complete enough for a first down. He's inside the 15. Jukes to the 10. He's still on his feet. 5-10. Touchdown! Touchdown Braves! JoJo Span on the play action pass. 6-0 Braves with 12:43 to go on the first quarter game clock. The Braves convert big time on 4th down.
Yeah, and that play was sprung by a big block by Zelius Morrow, which allowed Span the ability to cut back to the inside to get him those additional about 12 yards that he needed to get into the end zone.
Snap is down, kick is up, and the extra point attempt is good. Matt Davis makes it a 7-0 game. 12:43 to go, first quarter. Braves 7, Tuskegee 0. Stay tuned. This is UNCP Braves football.
The University of North Carolina at Pembroke was founded in 1887 by American Indians to provide education to the local community to ensure a pathway to success. Today, we're part of the world-renowned University of North Carolina system, but the spirit of our founding still guides us. Our strong academics are exemplified by standout programs in education, athletic training, business, and nursing, and by students working with professors on groundbreaking research. Explore the brave spirit today. The University of North Carolina at Pembroke.
Back to Grace P. Johnson Stadium in Pembroke, North Carolina, where the Braves took their opening possession of the game all the way down the length of the field and scored, set up by a big kick return by JoJo Span, and he was the one who scored to cap off the drive. As the Braves have a 7-0 lead, and now Matt Davis, after kicking the extra point, comes on. He will kick off back deep to return for the Golden Tigers. This looks like number 8, Desmond Reese, and number 22, Devazia Gaines. And we talked about Dennis Norfleet, the Michigan transfer for Tuskegee, is their big kick return guy, but he's out for a second straight week with an injury. And now the Braves taking their time breaking this huddle. Play clock at 20 for this kickoff. And they appear to be just taking their sweet time lining up for this kick. And now Matt Davis will be kicking off from the Braves' 35-yard line. And it's a low one. Bounces and will scoot out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Flag comes in, and that's not what the Braves had in mind there.
Yeah, that looked like, I don't even know, Davis just got that off the side of his foot or something. You try and kick it with just the instep, but perhaps got it a little bit too far in and just ended up shanking that one. Went out of bounds at about the 15-yard line, so now they'll mark it off. And it'll be great field position up to the 35 for the Golden Tigers.
The kickoff out of bounds means an automatic first down from the 35 for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. Their offense comes out onto the field for the first time, led by their quarterback, junior Kevin Lacey. He'll be joined in the backfield by number 21, Keno Loyal. His receivers are Desmond Reese, Markel Gardner, and Van Powell. Tight end Leo Gilbert. And the offensive line, Lowell Richardson, Chancellor Bell, Leonard Brown, Jabril Dandy, and Corey Mungo. Fullback in there as well, Jerome Lewis. 2 receivers, 1 to each side. And they will hand off to the fullback up the middle. He tries to keep the legs going, picks up 2, maybe 3 yards. Flag comes in late, and the ball pops out. It's scooped up by the quarterback, or check that out. It looks like the tailback. No, that is the running back. Ken O'Loyle picks up the fumble. Flag comes in along the line of scrimmage. We'll have to see what it's for.
Mm-hmm. We'll also have to see whether that ball popped out after Lewis was already down as well. Because that looked like it squeaked out rather late, but hard to tell with the pile.
And they will call a face mask against UNCP, so that gives the Golden Tigers an automatic first down anyway. Whether or not that ball was a fumble or not doesn't matter because it's 15 yards from the spot of the foul. So just like that, the ball will be into Braves territory on their 48-yard line. They only needed one play. Back-to-back penalties by the Braves on the kickoff and then the face mask on the first play from scrimmage for Tuskegee. Now pistol formation, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Lacey. A fullback and a running back in the backfield with him. He gets the snap, hands off to the tailback. No, it's a play action, and then pitches to the other running back and taken down for a gain of about 1. That's number 42, Garrett Barnett, making the tackle as they pitch to Tyree Brooks. Check that, Jerome Lewis.
Yeah, that was a triple option run that time by the Golden Tigers. The quarterback, Lacey, could either have handed it off to Loyal, kept it himself, or pitched it to Lewis. He decided to pitch it to Lewis. Picked up a couple of yards.
They'll call it a gain of 2, so it'll be 2nd and 8 from the Braves' 46-yard line for Tuskegee. 11:51 to go first quarter, 7-0 Braves lead, and they'll come out in the I formation. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, fullback and a running back behind Lacey, who's under center. He will run a power option left side, pitches to the tailback, and lots of room down the left sideline, enough for a first down as Ken O'Loyle is pushed out of bounds by Kendall Jacobs.
Another good read that time made by Lacey. Was rushing out to the left, like you said, Cameron, and just made that pitch late, which was able to spring Loyal for a big gain down the left sideline.
First down Tuskegee to the Braves' 36-yard line. No huddle here for the Golden Tigers. Looks like they'll come out in a pistol formation now. Lacey not under center. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right, and a tailback behind him. Play clock down to 8. 11:08 to go in the first quarter. Play action. Chased out to the left side. He's across the line of scrimmage and taken down for a gain of about 4 or 5 yards near the 30-yard line.
And a good job by Lacey to make something out of nothing. He had Austin Locklear pretty much with a hand on him in the backfield, was able to use his speed to not only get away from that tackle, but to pick up 5 yards as well, showing why he's the leading rusher on the team.
That looked like a broken play there. I think he play faked to one side, and the running back went behind his back. You're not going to fool too many defensive players when the handoff pretty much clearly can't happen. So 2nd and 5 from the Braves' 31-yard line. Back under center is Lacey, a fullback and a running back behind him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, ball on the left hash. Under center. He will drop back to pass. He's pressured. Jump throw to the left sideline, and it's incomplete over the head of the tailback Loyal as the Braves got excellent pressure into the backfield.
Yeah, and who else but it was Mike Keck getting some pressure from the outside, then coming right up the middle was the linebacker Chris Phipps, who it looked like, at least originally on that play, was designed to just spy on Lacey, so he was throwing, so came then on the delayed blitz. And a good job by Lacey, who's 6'6", to use every inch of that frame to get it over the top of the hands of Mike Keck, who was looking to deflect the pass.
3rd and 5 from the Braves' 31-yard line for Tuskegee. They trail 7-0 with 10:18 to play in the first quarter. I formation, 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Under center, dropping back to pass, looking to the left, and it is complete for a first down and taken down to about the 20-yard line. That's number 8, Desmond Reese, making his first catch of the afternoon.
Desmond Reese, 9th catch on the season, approaching 200 yards in total. Leads the team in both of those categories. He and Marquell Gardner are really the 2 leading threats through the air for the Golden Tigers.
He is a deep threat, Reese. He has a long catch of 63 yards on the season. I'm not sure how much the Golden Tigers are going to look to throw deep in this game with the wet field, wet playing surface. Well, they have the ball in the red zone now. 1st and 10 from the 20. I formation, 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. 9:50 to play in the first quarter. Braves holding on to that 7-0 lead. Lacey, hands off up the middle. Not much there. And it'll be a gain of a yard or 2 for Ken O'Loyle.
Looks like Elijah Williams came up for the middle linebacker's spot to get the first lick on Loyal that time, who's seen a majority of the handoffs for Tuskegee. He and Jerome Lewis each with 2.
That's a fullback and a running back. Tuskegee, Jerome Lewis is their fullback, a junior from Decatur, Georgia, chancellor from Chadron State, who came into the game with 10 carries. That's a lot more than you're used to seeing in the modern game, but Tuskegee uses the fullback, and they use him often. He will check out and head to the sidelines as they go 4 wide. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. And the quarterback, Lacey, in the shotgun. Play clock down to 5. He's got a running back to his right. 4-3. He gets the snap off. It'll be a delayed handoff to Loyal, and he's got room on the right side. Charges forward to about the 17-yard line. Looks like he'll be a yard short of the first down marker.
And a good job that time by the Golden Tigers to spread out the UNCP defense and then run it right up the middle to pick up a few yards. Seeing a lot of different looks out of the Golden Tigers on offense so far early. They're mixing things up well and methodically driving down the field.
3rd and a short 2 for Tuskegee from the Braves' 12-yard line. 8:30 to go in the first quarter. And it'll be another I formation as the fullback Lewis comes back into the game. 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a tight end in the formation. Braves shifting, showing blitz. Play clock down to 5 for Lacey. He's under center. Gets the snap, and he will pitch left, trying to stretch it out to the left side. Enough for the first down across the 10, and he's taken down to about the 8-yard line. That's Ken O'Loyal making the catch there on the pitch and taking it for a first down.
Yeah, Chris Phipps had some good penetration that time, but just didn't keep enough containment on the edge, and Loyal was able to get around him and pick up that first down.
1st and goal to go now for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers, trying to tie this game up. 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Braves with a 7-0 lead. We predicted coming in a low-scoring defensive battle, and, well, it's been the opposite.
At least to this point, both teams moving the ball with relative ease on offense.
I formation. They will hand off to the fullback up the middle, and he is taken down immediately. Mike Keck near the bottom of that pile.
Yeah, and another tackle for a loss for Mike Keck. That is now number 9 on the season. He's top 15 in the country in that, and we've got a quick stoppage in play here as it looks like the Tuskegee player a little bit slow to get up.
I think that was the ball carrier Lewis, the fullback, is the defensive tackle Ed Hopper was also in at the bottom of that pile. He kind of got twisted to the ground there between 2 very large men. Mike Keck, 6'3", 250. Ed Hopper, 6'0", 330. That's a lot of man falling on top of you. A lot of code black defenders. 2nd and 7 from the 7-yard line. 2nd and goal, that is. After no gain on the run by Lewis, he will exit. He's replaced by his backup, Josh Matthews, the other fullback on the Tuskegee roster. 2 receivers. They'll motion 1 from left to right. And now a pitch play, right side, looking for Loyals. He tries to stretch outside. He has the corner, trying to reach for the end zone. He is taken down short of the goal line by Chris Phipps. That'll bring up 3rd and goal for the Golden Tigers.
Good job by Phipps making that tackle. He was the last line of defense between him, Loyal, and the goal line, was able to drag him down from behind.
3rd and goal, and they'll spot the ball at the 3-yard line. Actually, just the nose of the ball on the 3-yard line. So a long 3 yards here for Tuskegee. And it looks like they bring out the fullback and bring out an extra wide receiver. And maybe it was just the tight end they brought out. They still have an I formation. 2 receivers to the left. And the Braves all bunched in at the line. Play clock down to 5. Game clock at 6:33. And they will roll the quarterback to the left. He makes the late pitch to Loyal. He drops the ball, and the Braves have fallen on it. First down, Braves on the fumble.
Looks like it was Aris Brooks who fell on the fumble, and yep, that's exactly who it was, the backup defensive end for the Braves, dropping himself right on top of that one and doing the smart thing and just falling on it and covering up. And another big stop by Code Black, that time helped out a little bit by some Butterfingers from Ken O'Loyal.
And we talked about how the field, the rain, it's a very damp surface right now. There's lots of mud. You can already start to see it on the white jerseys of the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. That time the ball just slipped out of the fingers of the tailback Loyal. Braves catch a huge break. They come out now with 3 receivers to the left. A tight end also moves to the left side. O'Brien in a pistol formation. They will hand off left side for Stanley. He tries to stretch it out, and he keeps going laterally, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 6-yard line. A loss of 2 on the play there on the run as Tuskegee gobbled that one up.
And a little chippiness after the play. Looks like John Rush and Cedric Cuff, the cornerback, or rather John Rich and Cedric Cuff, the cornerback, got into it a little bit on the sideline, but Stanley just kept going east and west that time and never got a chance to turn that one up the field.
So they will say he went backwards for about a yard there. Now into the game at tailback is DeMonte Rem. First time we've called his name. He's out there with Stanley. And now they motion Stanley into a wide receiver spot on the right side. Play clock down to 3. Now he joins the backfield once again. Play clock at 2, 1. And I don't think he got this play off. Flag flies. And I believe that's going to be a delay of game on the Braves. It'll be half the distance as the ball was spotted on the 8-yard line. That'll back them up inside their own 5. Second down. This is trouble here for UNCP.
Yeah, you talk about being in the shadow of your own goalpost. Well, that's what the Braves are right now, right up at the 4-yard line. There was that confusion where Stanley started in the backfield, then motioned out, then came back in. By the time they got everything sorted out, it was already too late.
5:30 to go in the first quarter. So the clock continues to run. 7-0 Braves lead, but they'll have to go the length of the field if they want to score again. Three receivers to the right, one to the left, and a tight end or a running back with O'Brien. He drops back to pass, throwing from his own end zone. Pass is tipped and broken up as it falls down harmlessly to the turf at the 10-yard line. Bring up 3rd and long for UNCP, and I would not be surprised if they just ran the ball in this next play.
I mean, they were averaging about 10 yards per rush on that first drive, so really would not be a bad idea to keep it on the ground, especially after that one was tipped, intended for John Rich on a crossing route. But it looks like they're going to take out the tight end Morrow and bring in John Allen, another wide receiver, so they're going to split it out with 4 wide.
2 receivers to each side. On the left side, it looks like Allen and Bunn. O'Brien in the backfield with Rontonio Stanley. Tuskegee showing a little bit of pressure. Flag comes in, and I think UNCP might have jumped first.
Looked like there were 2 guys along the defensive line for the Golden Tigers, and then also John Allen moved. And they're going to say that it was, in fact, UNCP that went first. So that's going to back them up another 2 yards.
Again, half the distance to the goal for UNCP. They move from their own 4 to their own 2. Game clock stopped, 5:11 to play in the first quarter. Braves have a 7-0 lead after they scored on the opening drive and then forced a turnover inside their own 5-yard line on Tuskegee's opening drive. And now the Braves really struggling to move the ball out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Back-to-back penalties, 3rd and 16 from their own 2. O'Brien in an empty backfield. He drops back to pass, throws short to the right side, complete, trying to set up a little bit of a screen across the 10, and taken down at the 11-yard line is Rick Mack. And that was a pretty safe pass there for O'Brien. That'll give them a little bit of room to punt as they will trot out the punting unit. Ben Utter, the UNCP punter, will get our first punt of the game.
Yeah, but that was maybe a safe-ish pass, but still something very dangerous. Whenever you throw that wide receiver screen in the end zone, you really got to worry about that one getting blown up for a loss and then a safety.
So ball in their own 11 as they gain 9 yards on that screen pass. Ben Utter on to punt. 4:30 to go in the first quarter. Play clock at 9. And back deep to return for Tuskegee. This looks like Devosa Gaines. Good punt by Utter as it will take a hop at the 50-yard line, takes a Braves bounce, and will roll all the way to the 42-yard line where it is downed by Huffman. And the Braves get quite a few yards there on that punt. Not quite flipping field position. It's hard to really flip field position when you're starting inside your own 10, but Tuskegee is not starting in Braves territory, and that's something.
Yeah, 45-yard punt there for Ben Utter. Not a bad job. He's been doing a good job, a solid job all season long. That was his 18th punt. He's now averaging just over 40 yards per boot this year. Not too bad for Mr. Utter, who was in a competition in preseason with Darius Williams, ended up winning it out, and has done a good job.
We've seen some of both of them this season. Williams has punted a couple times so far for UNCP, but Utter has kind of taken over the job and has done a pretty good job with it. Tuskegee comes out. They have a running back and a fullback in a pistol formation, 1 receiver to each side. As Lacey gets the snap, he'll roll the pocket to the left, drops back, looking deep over the middle, and overthrows his intended target. Running step for step was Elijah Williams as he tried to get it to number 7, Leo Gilbert. That was a tight end and a linebacker running down the middle of the field and just too far ahead of the tight end on that throw.
Yeah, Gilbert, a junior out of Miami with 3 catches so far this season, was just running right up the seam and, like you said, was step for step, but just couldn't get that pass in the right location for Gilbert to be able to come down with it.
So 2nd and 10 from their own 42 for Tuskegee. Gilbert will exit. Looks like they'll bring in an extra wide receiver. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right as they break the huddle with 3 seconds on the play clock. They need to get this play off. They do. High snap. Lacey will drop back to pass. He looks to the left side and overthrowing his target once again. This time intended for Travis Hawkins, the wide receiver. So back-to-back pass attempts, back-to-back incompletions. Now 3rd and 10.
And how many times have we seen this year for UNCP on defense? They give up a big drive to open up the game, and then they come out on the next drive and force a 3-and-out. I feel like that happened opening week against Winston-Salem State. That happened against Fayetteville State week 2 as well. And right now, 3rd and 10 after that lengthy opening drive for Tuskegee.
From their own 42 with 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the first quarter, Braves have a 7-0 lead. Tuskegee trying to cut into that. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right in a pistol formation. Lacey back to pass once again as he rolls to the left. He's chased out, and he is still on his feet. He'll tuck it and try to run. He's still going across the 45 to the 47-yard line, well short of the first down marker. And Tuskegee will most likely be punting here, facing 4th and about 5.
Yeah, and it was Tyler Hinton who got the original pressure in on Kevin Lacey that forced him to tuck it away and run. Good call as they bring out the punting unit now. Kemuel Sam out for the first one this game.
Kemuel Lawrence, the punter for Tuskegee, he's also their place kicker and will also handle kickoff. So he's a busy guy out there. The senior from Hamden, Connecticut, and back deep to return for the Braves, number 7, B.J. Bunn. Clock runs with about 3:30 to go in the first quarter. Braves will get the ball back with a 7-point lead. High end-over-end punt. Bunn will let it bounce at the 20, and it will die pretty much right there. Braves will take over from their own 20-yard line, and out will come the offense once again.
And so the defense comes up big again after the offense was unable to move the ball their second drive. Now we'll see what they're able to do with a little bit more room to play with as Rontonio Stanley comes back out to start things behind Patrick O'Brien on this set. Stanley, 3 rushes for 25 yards so far in this game, but all of that really coming on that first drive.
Yeah, and on that first drive, O'Brien, or I guess both drives, he has 2 completions for 36 yards and 1 touchdown, but all of those have been short passes, and the yards have come after the catch. Low snap, they will play fake, now look to the right. O'Brien just dumps it off complete to Bunn, and he is still on his feet across the 35 to the 40 and pushed out of bounds into the Tuskegee bench. Nice job there by Bunn. That was a low throw. He scooped it up off the turf for a completed pass and a first down.
Yeah, it was a good job by Bunn to go down and get it, but then also stay on his feet after the linebacker, Osmond Thompson, came in, tried to get a hit on him from the side, was able to stay upright and pick up an additional 8 yards.
So far from a highlight reel play for anybody, but a gain of 20 for the Braves, and that'll move the ball up to their own 40-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Braves with a 7-0 lead. Starting to see a little bit of the sun perhaps trying to peek through the clouds in Pembroke. Haven't seen that in a while. Empty backfield. O'Brien drops back to pass. 5-man rush. Looking over the middle. Incomplete as it goes through the hands of John Allen.
Yeah, that one was just flat out dropped by Allen. Hit him right between the numbers, but he was unable to corral that ball. Perhaps a little bit wet from being down there, so it's certainly understandable up in this weather. But that's a ball that I'm sure Allen will say that he should have got.
Allen will head to the sidelines and have a discussion with his coach. As Zelius Moore, the tight end, checks in. Still no running backs in the formation for UNCP. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and the tight end Morrow is in the left side of the formation as well. 2:43 on the first quarter game clock, 10 on the play clock. Now Morrow into the backfield with O'Brien in a pistol formation. And they will pitch to Morrow along the left side. He comes back across the middle and takes down to about the 45, 46-yard lines. He falls forward. We'll see where they spot him, and this will be 3rd and manageable for UNCP.
Yeah, a little bit of trickery that time by Johnny Cox. You motion the tight end, Morrow, into the backfield. You think, oh, he's just back there in pass protection or for a different look, and then you pitch it to him, and he picks up 6.
Morrow last season had 4 carries for 62 yards, so it's certainly not unheard of for them to use him in the running game. 3rd and 4 from their own 46 for UNCP. Line to gain is the 50-yard line exactly. Low snap for O'Brien. 4-man rush, steps up into the pocket, looking over the middle, and it is tipped and broken up. Couple of Tuskegee players got their hands on that ball. That looked like number 5, Osmond Thompson, got the initial contact on the football, and the Braves facing 4th and 4 from near midfield. Another decision, I think they'll probably punt.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be sending the punting unit out there, though still not fully on the field yet. Now they do take it, and Ben Under gets all set up. But a good job by Thompson going back from his linebacker position into coverage that time, and at full extension reaching the right hand back and getting his fingers on that football.
So the Braves started this drive from their own 20. They advance at 26 yards, and now will be punting with an opportunity to flip field position. Utter with a good punt, high end-over-end kick, and it will fall inside the 20-yard line. Bounces off one of the Tuskegee players, scooped up at the 5-yard line. Take it back towards the goal line, and he is taken down. Is that a safety? They will mark him down just inches short of the goal line. What a blunder there by Tuskegee. Not sure who the blocker was who that bounced off of, but Gaines took it and started running backwards with it.
Yeah, and the UNCP coach is just over to our left, really wanting that one to be called a safety. But Gaines did have forward progress across the goal line when the initial contact was made. So it's not a safety, but certainly a great opportunity for the Braves to get one here. The ball spotted inside the 1 yard line.
What
great
a play.
Punt as well.
Great punt that bounced at about the 15-yard line and then hit one of the up men. I'm not sure who that was. It looked like number 33, Darius Holmes, one of the guys who comes in to block for the punt return. He had no idea where the ball was. Braves tried to fall, and good heads-up play by Gaines to even make a play to get his hands back on the ball to keep the Braves from returning it. But then when he went to return it, he went backwards.
Yeah, and you understand he was trying to get some yardage out of it, but a lot of times the smart play is just fall on it and take the ball to 10 and not all the way back at the 1.
Dropping back to pass is Lacey from his own end zone. He looks deep right sideline, and that will fall short. Flag comes in as the defensive back there, that looked like Lawrence. He never turned to look for the ball, unless it was on the offensive player, Gardner, who kept Lawrence from getting to the ball. The official's going to have a word about this one.
Yeah, they were both jockeying with each other, and I could see this one going either way, either against Lawrence or against the Golden Tigers.
A lot of hand fighting at about the 30-yard line. The throw ended up being about 5 yards short of either of them, but whose fault that was, we'll find out.
And looks like they're just going to pick up the penalty and say that it was an uncatchable ball either way, so no penalty will be assessed to either team.
So 2nd and 10 for Tuskegee from their own 1 yard line. Minute 39 to play in the first quarter. The sun is really starting to peek through now in Pembroke. Still mostly cloudy skies and temperature about 70 degrees. A beautiful afternoon, autumn afternoon in Pembroke, North Carolina for a homecoming football game. I formation for the Golden Tigers. 2 receivers to the right, none to the left. A tight end, a fullback in the formation, and Lacey under center from his own goal line. He will hand off fullback, left tackle. Not a lot there, and he gets maybe 2 yards if we're feeling generous.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to spot him just across the 2 yard line. So it'll be another 3rd and long coming up for the Golden Tigers. And in grave danger, of course, still being so backed up. Perhaps getting taken down for safety.
One bad snap either on this play or on a potential punt if they don't get a first down. Facing 3rd and 8 from their own 3 yard line. Ball on the left hash. Braves bringing out a couple more DBs to counter what's probably going to be a pretty obvious passing situation. As there's exactly 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Play clock at 7 for Kevin Lacey. He's under center with a fullback and a tailback behind him. He will drop back to pass from his own end zone. Looking over the middle. It's broken up and tipped to the turf by a UNCP defender. That looked like Chris Phipps got his hand in there.
Yeah, and there were 3 members of the UNCP defense there around 2 receivers for the Golden Tigers. Desmond Reese and Leo Gilbert were both in the vicinity of that pass, but there were 3 defenders, and they just had them outnumbered and were able to tip that pass down.
Code Black likes that ratio, 3 defenders to 2 wide receivers in any given situation. Now punting with his heels right near the back of the end zone is Kemuel Lawrence. Back to return for the Braves is B.J. Bunn. He is standing short of the 45-yard line, so he's already in Tuskegee territory. It's a good snap. Punt is off. It looked like it might have gotten tipped as that barely reaches the 30-yard line. It will bounce short of the 30-yard line and then take a slight Tuskegee bounce. Great starting field position coming up for the Braves. They will be starting from the Golden Tigers' 31-yard line.
Yeah, that was just a terrible punt by Lawrence. You can't really blame him because the punt block was on and they were bearing down, so we just had to punt that one high to get it out of there. But when you punt it that high, a lot of times you sacrifice yardage, and that's what he did right there. Just a 28-yard punt.
So the Braves take over, 37 seconds to go in the first quarter with a 7-0 lead. Patrick O'Brien in a pistol formation with Martin Munn, the fullback, to his right, and so is Rontonio Stanley, the tailback. They'll motion Huffman from left to right. 2 receivers now to the right, 1 to the left. And the handoff goes up the middle to, this is Stanley, and he falls forward for a gain of 2 across the 30 to the 29-yard line. As the game clock will continue to wind, I don't think the Braves need to run another play here.
No, they don't seem to be in any hurry to get one back, although they'll go no huddle, but not necessarily a fast-tempo no huddle. If they get the play off, great. If not, I think they'll be content with that too.
Ball spotted on the 30-yard line of the Golden Tigers. 2nd and 9 for the Braves. Empty backfield for O'Brien. 3 receivers right, 2 to the left. Game clock at 5-4. He will get the snap off. It's a low one. 4-man rush steps up into the pocket and throws complete over the middle. This might be enough for a first down. John Allen making the catch as the first quarter game clock expires. They will spot it at the 20-yard line, and that will be enough for a first down, and that will end the first quarter. Teams will switch sides of the field. We will take a break. UNCP leading Tuskegee 7-0. This is the homecoming game, UNCP Braves football.
At the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, our student athletes find balance between their academic and athletic activities. With graduation rates higher than the national average, our athletes excel in academics and have won the Peach Belt Conference President's Academic Award twice in the last 4 years. Since 2009, 43 athletes have been named NCAA All-Americans, and last year, 40 made All-Conference. Catch their winning spirit and support the Braves.
Start of the second quarter in Pembroke with Joe Vasile. I'm Cameron Songer. Thank you for joining us for the homecoming game, UNCP football taking on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. Braves have a 7-0 lead and the ball on the Tuskegee 20-yard line. I formation, or pistol formation, as O'Brien hands off up the middle to Stanley. He's hit and taken down for about a gain of a yard. He's across the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Not much there for the Braves tailback. So 2nd and 9 coming up for the Braves from the Tuskegee 19-yard line. Braves already have that 7-0 lead as the second quarter gets started. And they don't have to necessarily be thinking end zone on any of these plays. Would be more than happy to take a field goal and a 2-score lead as they continue to rotate guys in and out. Play clock down to 15, so plenty of time for O'Brien as they'll come out with 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, empty backfield for Patrick O'Brien. Play clock at 6 now, 5, 4. O'Brien needs to get off. He does. 4-man rush, steps up in the pocket, looks over the middle, and hard hit, taken down, incomplete pass, looking for John Allen. He got laid out by Jewel Ratliff.
Yeah, Ratliff right over the middle that time, patrolling. Allen came across on that crossing route. O'Brien tried to get the ball to him, went off his hands, and then Ratliff laid the pain on John Allen, who will jog over to the sideline and sit the next play or two out.
Zoes Moore also heads to the sideline. Huffman comes in, and so does Rontonio Stanley. So there will be a running back in this formation. 3 receivers to the right, and all alone on the left side is Teron Huffman. Pistol formation for O'Brien. 14-12 to go in the second quarter. Low snap. He will play fake, roll the pocket to the right, steps up, and now he will tuck it and try to run. Cuts back towards the middle, diving forward to about the 15-yard line, well short of the first down marker. Bring up 4th and 5 for Patrick O'Brien and the UNCP offense. And whether or not they will keep the offense on the field remains to be seen. Looks like Matt Davis, the field goal kicker, will come out and attempt this field goal.
Yeah, and a good job, though, by Patrick O'Brien on that last play to reverse course and juke Vladimir Gray right out of his shoes that time. He fell right down as O'Brien cut it back towards the middle of the field to pick up those additional 5 yards.
30-yard field goal attempt coming up for Matt Davis from the left hash, trying to take a 10-0 lead for UNCP. B.J. Bunn on to hold. The snap is down. The kick is up, straight through, and it is good. And with 13:29 to play in the second quarter, UNCP 10, Tuskegee nothing. You're listening to UNCP Braves football. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Are you looking for a career that is both rewarding and has growth potential? Have you considered accounting? The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that employment opportunities for accountants will increase by 22% over the next 10 years. For general information about becoming an accountant, visit www.startheregoplaces.com and then call 910-521-6214 to learn more about the accounting program at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke.
Back in Pembroke with Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. The UNCP Braves homecoming football game, and it's off to a great start. Thought the weather was going to be an issue, and it really hasn't. No rain since the start of the game, and the sun is now coming out. We're seeing shadows on the field. What is this, Joe? Is this the sun?
Yeah, I think it is for the first time since last Friday. I've seen the sun. It's like they say, miracles do happen, Cameron.
it has been that kind of week in North Carolina, in the southern part of North Carolina. We were in South Carolina last week for the game against North Greenville. It rained much of the evening, and it's a welcome sight. And as soon as we say that, ducks behind the cloud a little bit. Matt Davis to kick off, and Tuskegee will be fielding a low kick, a short kick, scooped up short of the 20-yard line, taken at the 30, 35, and taken down near the 35-yard line is number 8, Desmond Rice. And it'll be solid starting field position for the Golden Tigers as they're really trying to mount their second good drive. Their opening drive was good. They took it the length of the field and fumbled on a near the goal line inside the Braves' 5-yard line. So no points on the board for Tuskegee yet. A lot of the credit, though, goes to Code Black defensively.
Yeah, they have done a great job. Remember that first drive that Tuskegee had? They were marching down the field. They were inside the red zone. They had first and goal from the 6-yard line. They tried to pitch it to the outside, and Brooks dropped the ball, and ever since then, Code Black has forced 2 straight 3-and-outs, and the offense has put up 10 points.
Shotgun formation now for Kevin Lacey, the Tuskegee quarterback. A running back to his left, 2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. He drops back to pass, and he will try to run. He is taken down and sacked. Sacked for a loss of about a yard or 2, and that looked like Eris Brooks making the stop.
And remember, it was Brooks who had the fumble recovery on that opening drive, now coming up with his second sack of the season.
So Brooks is out there on the defensive line.
Looks like Keck and Hinton are out there as well, 3 defensive ends. And it looks like Brooks and Keck are playing on the inside. They got the speed package out there on the D-line.
Also see number 50, Tajai Lyles, who's out there playing the other defensive end spot. Same formation for Tuskegee. Play clock down to 5. Dropping back to pass is Lacey. He looks to the right side, complete, and across the 40 for a first down. Ball came out near the end. I think they'll say he was down either way, and the receiver that time, Desmond Reese, picking up 12 on the catch, enough for a first down for the Golden Tigers.
And Mike Keck had a lot of pressure that time as well. Nearly came up with a sack, instead just settled for quarterback hit on Kevin Lacey right after he released that pass. But a good job by Reese to get across and make the play.
Up to their own 46-yard line is Tuskegee. Game clock at 12:12 left to go in the first half. I formation now for Lacey, a fullback and a tailback behind him. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. They will option to the right side, pitch to the running back across the 50 and push out of bounds into his own bench. That looked like number 27, Tyree Brooks, the senior from Bartow, Florida, getting the pitch that time. So into Braves territory by a couple inches here for Tuskegee, and Tyreek Holloway making the stop there for the Braves as he pushed the running back Brooks out of bounds. Second and six from the Braves' 49-yard line for Tuskegee. A little bit of a snafu on the scoreboard there. Had me confused for a split second. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Pistol formation. Lacey dropping back to pass. Looking right, his receiver slipped and fell, and the ball bounces harmlessly to the turf.
Yeah, looked like he was trying to throw that one back shoulder back to the sideline, trying to make the cut that time. Appeared to be Markel Gardner. Just lost his footing on the slick turf. That one fell harmlessly incomplete in the sideline.
We've talked about the turf all broadcast. We'll continue to talk about it because it might be the biggest issue in this game. Obviously, these two teams battling each other, but also battling the field condition right now. And thank goodness it's not actually raining right now and adding to what's already a very wet, very slippery, pretty muddy playing surface right now. It's been a problem for both teams, but definitely more so for Tuskegee. 3rd and 6 from midfield. Option to the right side. Pitch goes, and it looks like the running back will be a couple yards short. That went to Brooks. And someone's helmet came off near the end of that play. I think that was one of the linemen. He'll be definitely a yard or 2 short, and now a decision for the Golden Tigers. They'll face 4th, and it looks like a long 2 from the 45, 46-yard line of the Braves.
Well, Kevin Lacey remaining on the field here. Not sure whether that's his decision or the coach's decision. I could certainly understand why Lacey would want to go for it. And looks like the Golden Tigers will keep the offense on and try and push this one across for a first down conversion.
11:06 to go in the half as the Braves rotating some of their smaller guys out and bringing on some big boys, Ed Hopper and Marquin Hill. Hill 265, Ed Hopper 330 pounds, so bringing on some mass in the middle of the line. Braves are in a 4-3 base defense. I formation, 4th and 3, motion along the line. We'll see who it's on. And the Braves are pointing at the Tuskegee O-line. It looks like that's going to be the call, and it looks like here comes the punter. Lawrence has a false start called on the O-line of the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. This goes from being an attempt where they would go for it on 4th down. They'll back them up 5 yards. Now 4th and 8. Back across the wrong side of midfield for Tuskegee, and they'll punt.
Yeah, just an unfortunate thing there for the Golden Tigers. But as we mentioned in the pregame show, they're committing over 115 yards worth of penalties each and every game, and that was going to be a big factor today. They played well in avoiding penalties up until this point, but that one right there is a killer.
Terrible snap for Lawrence. He picks it up off the ground. Great composure. A long kick. It'll be caught by Bunn inside the 10. He backpedals. Now all the way back towards the 5-yard line, and he is taken down at the 5. It's the second time we've seen that today at about the exact same spot where a punt returner willingly goes backwards about 5 yards. Looks like they gave him a pretty favorable spot to about the 8.
Yeah, B.J. Bunn might have been a little bit better suited just letting that one sail over his head and hopefully bounding into the end zone for a touchback. But he tried to make a play out of it. To his credit, nearly did, but was just unable to cut it back north. And it looks like they're going to back the spot up now to about the 7-yard line.
Braves have the ball, though, and they're still pitching a shutout. 10-0 with 10:23 to go in the first half. Patrick O'Brien leads his troops back out onto the field, trying to figure out the Tuskegee defense again one more time. Try to really take control of this game. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. B.J. Bunn all alone on the left side. Martin Munn, a fullback to the left of O'Brien. And Rontonio Stanley, the tailback, also to O'Brien's left. Now they'll motion Span from the right to the left. Dropping back to pass, setting up a screen for Span along the left side. Not much there. He is wrapped up and taken down at the 5-yard line. Loss of 2 on the wide receiver screen. And that looked like number 42, Ricky Norris, making the tackle.
Yeah, Ricky Norris came up, made the tackle, and then Joe Ratliff as well, cleaning up at the end with good instincts to follow the ball once that pass was completed. Norris has been seeing a lot of action out of that weak side linebacker position, despite being number 2 on the depth chart behind Jason Ashley. He's had a nice season, including a pick 6.
And a long pick 6 at that, a 95-yard interception return for touchdown. So big play capability for him. They'll actually give forward progress back to the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 from the 7, and now motioning into the backfield. I think this is number 21, Cliff Jones. They'll pitch him. Check, this is Morrow on the carry. Flag comes in. Ball comes out. Recovered by Tuskegee near the 10-yard line. We'll see what the flag is for. No doubt a turnover there for the Braves, but we'll have to see what the flag is for.
And it's right in the vicinity of a hold. And UNCP already putting his...
The defense comes out, and the turnover there. That's why you don't see a tight end get too many carries. Zelius Morrow coughed that ball up as he was hit hard, and Tuskegee will take over. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line with an opportunity to cut this 2-score deficit to 1.
And now it's going to be on to Code Black to really come up big again. They've done that several times today, including once inside the red zone. This is another huge point in this game because, well, if they can get this back to a 1-score game by halftime, that sets the Golden Tigers up very well. Coming out of the locker room, they get the ball first, but it all starts right here with at least trying to put some kind of points up on the scoreboard when you're given this gift.
I formation for Lacey. He's under center. 1 receiver to the far right, 1 receiver to the left. They'll motion that receiver from left to right. So now both receivers on the right side. Pitch play goes to the right side, trying to set up Loyal. And he's still on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Tuskegee. A 1-play, 9-yard drive. And the score now 10-6 with 9:21 remaining in the first half.
Now, Loyal was able to take it around the right side that time. Not even sure that anybody on the Braves defense even got a hand on him as he waltzed into the end zone for that one. And well, some points off the turnover from Zelius Morrow. Would be surprised to see him get any more carries in this game.
On to attempt the extra point, Kemuel Lawrence. This would make it a 7-point game. It's a pretty big extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. And with 9:21 remaining in the second quarter, UNCP commits the turnover, and Tuskegee capitalizes right away. It's 10-7. You're listening to UNCP Braves football. Back in 30 seconds.
When I came to UNC Pembroke, I kind of fit in and realized that this place is right for me.
They want you to figure out what you're good at and what kind of job can you actually get with whatever you're good at.
The Braves saw their lead cut down to 3 points. It's now 10-7 UNCP with 9:21 to play in the first half. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. Thank you for joining us on the Braves Radio Network for the UNCP football homecoming game. They take on the undefeated Tuskegee Golden Tigers. And it's really so far, I've been a little underwhelmed by Tuskegee.
Yeah, you came in and you looked at some of the numbers coming in, saying, oh, wow, this is a great running team. This is a great defensive team. And they haven't really looked like it in either regard so far today. And maybe you pointed some of the absences along the offensive line as why they haven't really been able to get the running game going as well. But really on defense, Joel Ratliff has impressed immensely for the Golden Tigers. But outside of that, it's been kind of an underwhelming performance thus far.
Camille Lawrence on to kick off for Tuskegee. Back deep to return is Spann and Huffman for the Braves. And here's the kick. He kind of slipped as he kicked that one and got a lot of distance on it. Bounces into the end zone for a touchback. We'll have to see if he's okay. A little ginger walk by the kicker Lawrence as he walks back to the sidelines. If he's hurt, I'm not sure what Tuskegee does on kickoffs and punts and extra points because he is their everything in special teams.
And he certainly is, although despite how unorthodox that one looked, got the job done.
Really
Sailed right
effective.
into the end zone and bounced out the back for the touchback.
Going back to Tuskegee's performance so far today, this could be because UNCP is the best team they've faced all year. Their wins so far this season have come over Clark Atlanta, Albany State of Georgia, Winston-Salem, and at Lane. UNCP is a solid team at 3-1. And in motion, Huffman from left to right. Set up the sweep for him as he goes to the left side, dancing across the 25 to the 30, and near the first down marker, he's pushed back to the 30, but they'll probably give him forward progress to at least the 32.
Yeah, looks like they're actually going to mark him all the way up at the 34-yard line. Pickup of 9 for Huffman, and we've seen that on the one kick return he had right at the outset of that game. And now on that rush right there, he's done a good job today of breaking some tackles, broke another one on that rush before he ended up running right into the brick wall that's been Osmond Thompson in this game.
Braves now have 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left in B.J. Bunn. Tight end Zelius Morrow on the right side. And the tailback, Rontonio Stanley. Now Morrow motions from right to left. Play clock down to 8. And they will hand off up the middle for Stanley. No, it's kept by O'Brien. He's taken down. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Might have lost half a yard. And they'll bring up 3rd and a long 1, maybe 2 yards for the Braves from their own 34-yard line. 8:23 to play in the first half.
And just a little read option that time for O'Brien. Decided to keep it himself. Probably should have handed it off to Stanley.
Martin Munn, the fullback, will come in, as the Braves might be thinking about just trying to go power here. Tuskegee responds by stacking the box. Handoff up the middle. Stanley is met in the backfield. He dives forward. He might have gotten enough for a first down there. We'll see
looks
where
like
they
the head
spot him.
linesman is saying first down, and they will move the chains here, as on the second effort, Stanley was able to get there.
First down for the Braves, as they needed to get to the 35-yard line, as the ball had been spotted on the 25 following the touchback, and they were able to get it just across. The very tail of the ball is resting on the 35-yard line. So got it by a couple inches, about the length of the football. Braves go no huddle. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. O'Brien in the shotgun with 7:35 to play in the half. Braves up 10-7 and driving from their own 35. Play clock down to 2. O'Brien gets the snap, will roll right. He's looking deep. Throws complete to the 50-yard line and down to about the 46. Flag comes in. A couple flags come in late. The receiver was John Rich. There might have been a late hit there on Patrick O'Brien, and they might mark off an extra 15 yards.
Yeah, there was also a little bit of a skirmish between Daniel Butler, the right tackle for the Braves, and Twan Adams, a defensive lineman, down the field for the Golden Tigers, and that's kind of the vicinity where those flags are in, just across the 40-yard line. So whether this is going to go against Butler or Adams, we don't know.
Let's wait for the official signal. Taking his time. There's a personal foul against Tuskegee. That might have been the late hit on the quarterback there, as O'Brien was out of the pocket and kind of threw on the run, but he's back on his feet. He's a big guy, 6'4", 215 pounds. And then also an ineligible receiver downfield against UNCP, and that will those penalties will offset and the play will not count.
So after all of that, a good catch by Rich. Yeah, it never happened. So now you got first down and 10 back from the 35-yard line. The scoreboard showing 2nd and 10.
They'll reset it to say 1st and 10 from the Braves 35. It's as if that play didn't happen, and the clock will run. So all that really happens as a result of that is a bunch of time runs off the clock. It doesn't really matter, though. 7:13 to play in the first half as O'Brien is all alone in the backfield. 3 receivers to his right, 1 to the left, and the tight end Morrow slightly off to the left side as well. Dropping back to pass is O'Brien. 5-man rush. He's pressured, throwing off his back foot, complete over the middle with a little bit of room, and then taken down right away from behind is John Allen. He's across the 40 to the 42.
And just another crossing route for John Allen. That seems to be the only route that he's running today. I've seen him do it about 5 times. He's got a couple of catches. Of course, the one drop earlier in the game, and he got lit up by Jewel Ratliff as well on that same route. But it's been successful for him in just getting in and using his speed to get behind the linebackers who have been in coverage of him.
Allen is not the biggest guy, 5'8", 175, so you worry about him coming over the middle with some of those big middle linebackers, but he's been able to do a pretty good job so far. Play clock down to 9. O'Brien in the pistol formation, handoff up the middle. This is Morrow once again, and he's across the line to gain and finally pushed back, but I think they'll give him forward progress enough for a first down to about the 46.
And it's interesting, we've seen now 3 rushes for Zelius Morrow. Haven't seen DeMonte Rem, haven't seen Brian Staten, and haven't seen Cliff Jones get a touch in this game at all.
Stanley will come back into play now. And he joins O'Brien in the backfield. 3 receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and the 2 to the right side are bunched up. All alone on the left side is B.J. Bunn. Ball on their own 48-yard line. O'Brien rolling to the right, steps up, throws right side, complete, and dancing out of bounds to about the 45-yard line. That's once again John Rich.
Seen John Rich targeted multiple times in this game, which is good to see to start him getting going. Just 9 catches through the first 4 games this year. That's just over 2 catches per game. Hasn't really seen a lot of the targets. B.J. Bunn's been getting most of those, but today O'Brien's been looking the direction of Rich and has been rewarded a couple times.
2nd and 4 coming up for the Braves into Tuskegee territory. Ball on the 46, under 5:30 to play first half. Braves holding that 3-point lead. Play action. O'Brien flushed. He will throw short and incomplete. Looking for Huffman and kind of one-hopped it to him. That'll bring up a 3rd and 4 now for the Braves. Still can either run or pass. This might be 4-down territory, Joe.
Yeah, O'Brien just was rushing to get that one out and ended up spiking it in the direction of Huffman. But at this point, it's a little bit too short to punt unless you really want to trust Ben Utter to execute the coffin corner drill to perfection. You're obviously not going to kick a field goal from here. So 2-down territory, I would say to pick up 4 yards, odds are in your favor.
A lot of stomping going on as the Braves trying to make some noise on the home sideline. I thought that was thunder at first. There was a little bit of thunder and lightning in the forecast. Still in motion, Munn to the right side. 2 receivers on each side. O'Brien has time, looks short, right side, complete to Munn. We'll have to see where they spot him. I don't think he got enough for the first down.
Now, looks like he's going to be about a yard shy of picking up the first down. They're going to spot him just outside of the 43-yard line. Need to get to the 42, so 4th and 1. Looks like the offense is staying on as we thought.
So they went to the fullback there as he motioned into the slot as a wide receiver. Now the Braves will take a timeout, and a timeout on the field. No, there's not a timeout. The offense will head to the bench. 4th and 1 from their opponent's 43-yard line. The Braves bring out the punting unit. I'm not sure I agree with this. Ben Utter on to punt.
Unless they're going for a fake.
Back deep to return is Reese. Then the punt is off. It's a high end-over-end kick. Might have gotten tipped and sails out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Braves net a total of 12 yards there on that punt. Far be it from me to say I'm a football coach, but I do not agree with that play call one bit.
Certainly not. There's that Twitter account, 4th Down Bot. You could almost see that one saying,
"Go
for it."
Oh boy! From the Tuskegee 42-yard line in a very defensive game. I understand that it's a defensive game, but you need 1 yard there, and instead it's not a very good punt. You get 12 yards out of it.
I understand that you trust Ben Utter to get you more than 12 yards net on a punt, but at the same time, if you don't trust your offense to pick up 1 yard in that situation, I mean, why not?
I mean, and that punt was seriously mishit by Utter. It almost makes me think that they were trying some kind of trickeration there. Lacey out of a pistol. He has time. He's looking deep. Lofts one towards the middle, and that will be a leaping interception by Mike Lawrence. Braves get the ball right back. They will take over on their own 45-yard line.
And that interception was the 5th on the career for Mike Lawrence, just coming up with a big one there. Got himself in perfect position, timed his leap perfectly, and came right down with it. So all that talk, and the Braves have the ball right back.
So all in all, that sequence of 2 plays, a bad punt, and then an interception, cost them the total of about 10 yards as the Braves will get the ball back near midfield. That pass there intended for Desmond Reese by Kevin Lacey. It's his 5th interception thrown on the season versus 6 touchdowns. And right back on defense are the Golden Tigers. Man, that defense got to be feeling kind of tired right now. They've been playing quite a bit of defense in this second quarter. 4:21 to go in the quarter. Braves have a 10-7 lead. They take over on the 44-yard line, right hash, pistol formation. O'Brien fakes the run, now rolls left, throwing left side, leaping catch by Span. That's enough for a first down into Tuskegee territory, down at the 44-yard line. First down, Braves.
Yeah, JoJo Span coming up big again. That's his 3rd catch of the game now with another first down pickup. Remember, he had the 27-yard touchdown earlier in the game as well.
Sun dips behind some clouds, but we can see a little bit of blue sky directly above the field at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. Braves trying to drive once again. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half with the Braves up by 3 points. Shotgun formation for O'Brien. Motion man. And they will fake the jet sweep. Now O'Brien has a lot of time, looking short, setting up a screen pass to Stanley. He breaks one tackle across the 45-40, and he is out of bounds. Gain of about 7 there for Rontonio Stanley on a very delayed running back screen.
Yes, Stanley was able to slip the tackle of Osmond Thompson in the backfield and cut it up for the gain of about 6 yards. After that one took a long time to develop. I don't even know if that one was originally set up to be a screen or whether that was just O'Brien's check down to hit Stanley because he had nothing open down the field.
Well, if it was a check down, great job by the offensive line to adapt to it and start pulling along the right side to try to make some of those blocks. Tight end is Morrow. 2 receivers to the right. B.J. Bunn alone on the left side. Flag comes in. They'll hand off up the middle to Stanley. He stays on his feet across the 40 to about the 38. He got about a yard. We'll have to see what the flag is for, however.
Might be against the Golden Tigers as they allowed that play to go. Although the referee and the headlinesman getting together to talk it over.
The fact that it wasn't blown dead is good news for the Braves.
Appears to be an illegal shift.
An illegal shift against UNCP, so that'll back him up 5 yards. And Tuskegee, that might be one where you think about declining the penalty. If it's a second down run for no gain, you think about maybe just declining and making him play 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Instead, they'll back him up to the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 coming up for the Braves. 3 minutes exactly to play in the second quarter. Ball on the Golden Tiger 44-yard line, right hash for Patrick O'Brien. He's in the shotgun, 2 receivers to each side, and the tailback Stanley to his right. Low snap, scooped up by O'Brien, now throws high, caught by Rich as he came over the middle, and taken down to the 38, 39-yard line, and they get those yards right back.
Yeah, they got the penalty yardage back and maybe an extra yard or 2. That'll set up a manageable 3rd down and 4 for UNCP. And O'Brien now 12 of 19 on the game through the air. He's done himself a very nice job in being accurate with his passes, despite a couple of drops, too, in this weather.
A lot of credit to the receivers, though, because that time Rich had to really climb the ladder to make that catch. 2 receivers on each side for O'Brien. Play clock at 14. They get the snap off. Hand up the middle. Plenty of room for Stanley. He's across the 35, 20, 10. He's still on his feet. 5. And he dives. Touchdown, Braves. Rontonio Stanley took it himself to the house.
Like a freight train, once he got some momentum going, there was no stopping Stanley that time. Good job by B.J. Bunn down the field, blocking to help open up some room for him as well. But Stanley slipped another couple of tackles on his way in that time. Just a great job on the ground as he had success on the first drive, and then there wasn't a whole lot until that one right there. Wow.
Matt Davis on to attempt the extra point to put the Braves up by 10. B.J. Bunn stays in the game to hold for this extra point attempt. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is straight through. No, it missed. Extra point, no good. And with 2:06 remaining, the score will remain UNCP 16, Tuskegee 7, 2:06 to play in the half. We'll be right back for the rest of the first half on the Braves Radio Network.
Say, you're an overachiever and want to take an extra class. Who can you call?
The registrar.
So you don't know who your advisor is or how to register for class? Who are you going to call?
The registrar.
So you want to graduate and don't know if you can? Who are you going to call?
The registrar's office.
Get a clue on how to meet your educational goals. Call or stop by the office of the registrar.
Back to Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field at Grace P. Johnson Stadium in Pembroke, North Carolina. The UNCP homecoming football game against the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. 2:06 remaining in the first half. UNCP just scored on a 40-yard run by Rontonio Stanley. Extra point was no good, so 16-7 is the score. Matt Davis is on to kick. A couple of Golden Tigers back to return. Good kick, high, end over end, right down the middle of the field. Taken at the 5-yard line by Desmond Reese, taken along the right side, and he is hit hard and taken down just beyond the 20-yard line to about the 21. And Reese a little slow to get up there. Braves fired up right now, exactly 2 minutes remaining in the half. And barring something really unforeseen, the Braves will have the halftime lead against the number 18 Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
Yeah, certainly when you look back at this first half for the Braves, you've got to be happy with what you've seen overall, not only on offense with the 16 points in the first half, but from your defense as well. After that first drive for Tuskegee, they have managed just 80 yards of total offense heading into this drive here, and that's just absolutely fantastic for a team that's averaging over 300 yards on the per game, I should say, on the season.
Opportunity to run a 2-minute drill for quarterback Kevin Lacey, the junior from Wetumpka, Alabama. Already has thrown an interception in this game. Gets the pistol snap, throws over the middle, complete enough for a first down to the 40-yard line. A big hit laid on Markel Gardner, but he bounces right back up, and a big 20-yard gain for the Golden Tigers to start their drive. 1st and 10 from their own 40. Game clock running, 1:50 to play in the first half. Lacey trying to lead his Golden Tigers down the field to cut into this 9-point UNCP lead. Fullback and a running back in the backfield with him as he will drop back to pass. Has time, looking right, complete, into Braves territory, pushed out of bounds short of the 45-yard line, but enough for another first down, and again, it's Gardner. Check that, that's number 8, Desmond Reese, making the catch.
It's been Reese and Gardner pretty much all day, the two guys that Lacey has been confident with throwing the ball to. And Reese that time picks up catch number 2 on the game.
Pardon me for missing the numbers a little bit there.
Catch 3.
The jersey's starting to bunch up, plus you have the mud on the jerseys on those white tops. Going no huddle here is Tuskegee. Time for Lacey. He rolls to the right, will tuck it and run, and he is corralled out of bounds near the 40-yard line, so no first down that time after 2 straight first down plays for Tuskegee. Bring up 2nd and about 5 for the Golden Tigers into Braves territory, ball on the 42.
But a good scramble that time by Lacey as nothing was open. The protection held up just long enough for him to pick up that 5-yard gain.
Ball on the 42, 1:28 to go. Pistol formation once again. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right for Lacey. Braves look like they might be bringing pressure here. Snap, and they will hand off up the middle, and gobbled up, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage for Tyree Brooks. And coming in to lay the lumber, Garrett Barnett.
Yeah, Barnett did a good job coming in that time, reading that run perfectly. And that is his 4th tackle. That leads the Braves defense in this first half.
They will say he lost less than a yard there, and a timeout taken by Tuskegee as they will face 3rd and 6 from the Braves' 43-yard line. 1:23 to go in the first half. Now, let's say the Braves get a stop here. What does Tuskegee do? Do they punt? And if they do punt, what do the Braves do?
Well, I would imagine that if the Braves come up with the stop, that you would see Tuskegee punt. The Braves get it, and if I'm Shane Richardson, I'm just running it out into the halftime. I'm taking my 9-point lead into the locker room, being very satisfied, being up on a top 20 team in the country, whether they're 17, 18, depending on whichever poll you want to go off of. You got to be happy with that, going in and just not running any kind of risky plays where you're going to risk any kind of turnover and allow Tuskegee to build some momentum going into the second half, especially since they start with the ball.
And the Braves have won the turnover battle so far, just the one fumble on the run by the tight end, Zelius Morrow. Tuskegee has thrown an interception and also fumbled once. And now back out onto the field is the Tuskegee offense. Lacey with 2 receivers to his left, 1 to the right, in a pistol formation. He will roll the pocket to the left, coming along towards the near sideline. He's running for his life. He will jump throw and caught at the 30 or the 25-yard line, but he was out of bounds.
And also, Lacey was about a yard over the line of scrimmage when he threw that pass.
And Shane
No
Richardson was
penalty.
right there, and he is giving the refs an earful right now. As it is just 4th down, so no penalties issued there. They're looking for Travis Hawkins, the wide receiver who came all the way down to the left side, towards the left corner of your screen if you're watching on the webcast. And Tuskegee will keep the offense on the field. Play clock down to 7 with 1:15 to go. Play clock down to 1. Did he get the snap off? He did. Going for it on 4th down. Looking left, dropped. And that's a turnover on downs. No flag on the play. They were looking for Markel Gardner. He tried a leaping catch on the slant. Braves will take over on their own 43 with 1:10 to go. Now, you said the Braves might be thinking about running this out, Joe. They do have 2 timeouts. They do have the lead. Do you think about maybe taking a shot deep?
I would say that you might consider it for a brief moment. Of course, running it out was more predicated on, okay, if they're backed up close to their own goal line, you say you run it out. Though here, starting at the 43-yard line, maybe you take 1 stop down the field, and if not, then just take it a half.
O'Brien in a pistol with the Braves up 16-7. Play fake, looking over the middle. One-handed catch by Bunn over midfield into Tuskegee territory. Holy cow. That was way behind Bunn, and he leapt up and caught it with the right hand as he came from the left side on the slant over the middle.
Holy cow. That's the only analysis I have of that one. Bunn reached back across his entire body with his momentum going in the opposite direction and snagged that with one hand.
Clock continues to run. 45 seconds. O'Brien drops back. He's flushed out. Pitches to Stanley. Enough for a first down as he kind of did the underhand toss. And to the 45-yard line is Stanley. He gets pushed back, but forward progress gives him the first down. Tuskegee player injured on the play. 35 seconds left. Braves will have 1st and 10 from the Golden Tiger 45-yard line. As the Tuskegee player pops back up, we'll see there was a timeout taken by the Braves. And that's probably a smart call now, as they can think about taking some shots toward the end zone.
Yeah, with 35 seconds left, you got a couple of plays to work with. Also, the Braves have a timeout remaining. After this one, this their second that they've taken. They've got the opportunity to, even if you don't want to take a couple of shots toward the end zone, pick up a few extra yardage, maybe get within Matt Davis's field goal range as well to try and put up some additional points here before the half.
Some dark clouds starting to roll in, covering Grace P. Johnson Stadium, and I wonder if they might turn the lights on here fairly soon. And we were worried a little bit about thunder and lightning in the forecast, but haven't heard or seen anything about that yet, which is good news because as soon as there is a lightning strike in the area, there's at least a 30-minute delay. So the Braves, with the momentum they have going in this game, they've got to be thinking they want to keep this game going. And part of that goes with just keeping the clock running, keeping the ball on the ground. We'll see if that continues to be their strategy in the second half. And if not keeping the ball on the ground, then short, safe passes. And that's been the story for Patrick O'Brien in this one so far. 35 seconds left as he brings his offense back onto the field. They have 1 timeout left. 1st and 10 from the Tuskegee 45-yard line and a 9-point lead. Low snap, 4-man rush. O'Brien looks deep right side looking for Rich. Dropped. That was off his hands, but 2 defenders right there running with him step for step. That time, number 12, Terrence Webb, a senior, a transfer from North Carolina A&T. So 29 seconds remaining now in the half. Braves facing 2nd and 10. And they need to get still a bunch of yards to be in field goal range for Matt Davis. I think they need probably at least 20. And they do have the 1 timeout left. 2 receivers left, 2 to the right for O'Brien. Stanley in the backfield with him on the left side. They will play action and throw over the middle, over the head of Bunn, incomplete. That looked like it might have been tipped at the line. A little bit of contact, a little bit of pushing and shoving between Bunn and the linebacker Osmond Thompson, but no flag.
Yeah, it was tipped at the line by Jason Ashley. You saw the umpire in signaling, rather, that one was tipped at the line of scrimmage. So all the jockeying around between the two after the ball was tipped, no penalty flag.
Perfectly legal, and because of that tip, Thompson could have really whacked Bunn as he came over the middle there, as Braves may be lucky there that their star receiver was able to stay on his feet. 25 seconds left. Play clock down to 6. And the Braves have the ball on the opponent's 45-yard line. Handoff goes up the middle. Not a lot there for Stanley. He picked up maybe a yard or two, and I think that will probably end the first half. I'm surprised the Braves wouldn't call timeout here and go deep for it on 4th down for the last play of the half.
Although maybe they're waiting to call timeout until they know that it'll be the last play of the half. Although
4, 3, 2, 1.
Nope.
And that is it. That's the end of the first half. The Braves drove into opponent's territory there, but didn't make anything happen. They will head to the locker room with a 16-7 lead. Still 30 minutes of football left between the Braves and the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. We will take a break here on the broadcast. And when we come back, it's the Braves halftime show. Brandon Blakely and Shane Irons will be bringing you the UNCP Braves halftime show in a few moments. Stay tuned.
UNCP Student Health Services is located next to the nursing building and across the Livermore Library. In addition to primary medicine, students are offered contraceptive health education immunizations, allergy injections, laboratory services, confidential testing, and nursing services. Stop by for any service and educate yourself on your health. There is a friendly staff of nurses on call and ready to help whenever needed. You shouldn't have to ask yourself, got health? UNCP Student Health Services. Call or visit the website for more information.
Hello and welcome back here to Grace P. Johnson Stadium, fans, for this halftime report brought to you by Shane Irons and Brandon Blakeney. In an interesting first half here, Tuskegee comes in rated number 17 in the nation, 4-0 overall, but at halftime you wouldn't know it with the Braves leading 16-7. Some quick stats for you here. I don't know. Welcome back, fans of Grace P. Johnson Stadium. Shane Irons here alongside Brandon Blakeney for the halftime report. Interesting game so far here. Rainy day at UNCP. Largely unrainy for the first half, but the field's starting to get a little bit wet as downpours start. Fans climbing out of the stands, umbrellas coming up. Braves leading 16-7 at the half, though. Braves coming in 3-1 after a tough game at North Greenville. Tuskegee, however, riding a win over Lane as they come in today, ranked number 17 in the nation, but overall, a rough, hard-hitting ball game so far.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's really been intense, and with two teams going at it like this, 3-1, 4-0, we knew it was going to be a good game. The Braves have played really well so far on both sides of the ball, I think, especially on defense, holding this high-powered Tuskegee offense to 7 total points in one half of football.
Yeah, if you look at the total offensive plays versus yards, UNC Pembroke with 36 total plays for 218 yards. Tuskegee pretty even in the play department with 31. However, they only have 116 yards of overall offense. Their only score came off a Braves turnover on the 9-yard line, a fumble, which really set them up, quick score right there. But other than that, largely ineffective in moving the football through the first half with just that 116 yards.
Yeah, definitely. You heard a lot of hype coming in about this offense, especially their leader, Kevin Lacey, under center. He's 12-1 overall in 2 seasons of starting for Tuskegee, so the guy's not used to losing. And this Brave defense, Code Black as they call it, has locked in on him for sure. And they're doing a good job containing as well as forcing him to make bad plays on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Kevin Lacey, as you mentioned, a solid player for Tuskegee. Really just one mistake in that first half. He throws that interception trying to go down the field in a hurry. But other than that, solid with the ball. They like to run the option here. Tuskegee very solid in his decision-making and his reads. Just the Braves defense staying disciplined, keeping their assignments, and able to make these tackles.
And it's tough to do that when you're going up against a scrambling quarterback like that. He's a true dual-threat quarterback, and they've been running a lot of read, like you said today. The Braves have been reacting well, staying at home, and the defensive line, especially led by Mike Keck out there, has been controlling the line of scrimmage for the Braves. And anytime you can do that, you're in good shape to win a game. Yeah,
Mike Keck, a veteran player on a very young defense, always solid on that defensive line. Your leading tacklers currently for the Braves are Elijah Williams, Garrett Barnett, Chris Phipps, and Jonas Johnston. Those two linebackers, though, Elijah Williams and Garrett Barnett, are so critical in containing this option offense. Garrett Barnett being an outside linebacker responsible for contain oftentimes in one-on-one tackling situations has really showed up today. On the flip side of the ball, though, the Tuskegee has also had a decent day on defense. Their leading tacklers, Ricky Norris, Jewel Ratliff, Darryl George, and Thompson with 5 tackles and 3 tackles respectively, doing a good job of containing the Braves. Really the difference is splash plays. And what I mean by splash plays is plays that are taking up large chunks of yardage quickly. And Rontonio Stanley, you saw the 38-yard touchdown run at the end of that half. He had a big one earlier in the game.
On that first drive, kept the drive going.
And then you have Teron Huffman, who had a big return to start the game. So really splash plays are the difference right now for the Braves, because in the short yardage department, they're struggling a little bit. You see just 9 first downs for UNCP and 7 for Tuskegee. So largely, other than splash plays, it is a defensive battle.
Yeah, it has been a really big defensive battle. I think Coach Richardson has to be very pleased with the play of his quarterback, Patrick O'Brien, so far. 14 for 23, 127 on the in the air, 1 touchdown so far, and he's been spreading the ball out pretty well. He's hit 4 different receivers. JoJo Spann, of course, caught the touchdown in the first half to strike first for the Braves, and that was a really good play there. Just a little dump-off pass just to get them going in rhythm, and JoJo did the rest.
Yeah, and Tuskegee has to be a little bit surprised. Coming into a wet ball game, standing water on the field, you would assume that the Braves would run more than they have. But Patrick O'Brien has put the ball in the air 23 times as compared to 13 for Lacey. So Tuskegee content to run. The Braves really trying to mix it up here.
Exactly.
If you're Tuskegee, what do you change?
I think here, Tuskegee on offense, I think they need to keep the balance, keep the read option. It's picking up yards. I think they're going to look to spread the ball out a little more, though, being down here. The weather provided, I think, will have an effect on strategies, but definitely look to see Keno Loyal get more involved here. 7 carries in the first half. I think he'll see a lot more touches. And Kevin Lacey, of course, will look to get more involved. We'll see if the Braves can keep locked in on their star on the other side, though.
Now, do you expect Shane Richardson to continue to throw the ball with Patrick O'Brien? As the radar and the weather says that it should rain for about the next hour or so of this ball game, 14 minutes left in halftime. Do you expect them to keep putting the ball in the air? Do you see some conservative running with Rontonio Stanley?
I think you're going to see more read option here, more running the ball. I think definitely you have to keep the ball in O'Brien's hands. He's a playmaker, and he's a catalyst for this Braves offense. So you definitely have to keep the ball in his hand. But I think we'll see more read option, more handoffs here. And Richardson will have to get a little creative here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're definitely going to put the ball in Rontonio Stanley's hands a little more. Zelius Morrow, the tight end, actually getting some touches running the ball. Not often you see that. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So, he has 3 runs, 13 yards, 4.3 on the average. I look to see a little bit more power running from him as we go into the second half of this ball game. And as you said, I don't expect much to change for Tuskegee's offense. I think they're content to stay with that run, especially with the weather the way it is and the field conditions deteriorating. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We're going to talk about the defense as we come back. I'm Shane Irons alongside Brandon Blakeney.
The Esther G. Maynard Honors College at UNC Pembroke offers driven students an advanced learning community to live, learn, and grow together while on campus. Our scholars not only take specialized honors courses as part of their general curriculum, but also enjoy regular co-curricular events on and off campus with access to opportunities exclusive to Honors College members. Find out more about our Maynard Honors College and our scholarships today.
Welcome back here to Grace P. Johnson Stadium, where we are currently doing the halftime report. 11 minutes remaining in halftime here. The rain's slowed to a drizzle, but it's consistent. Players covering up with ponchos down there trying to keep warm as the wind's cutting through the field. We are 16-7 is your score. We're going to talk a little bit about the defenses here. I'm Shane Irons with Brandon Blakeney. A turnover for each team in the game so far. That is the difference for Tuskegee. Pembroke did not score on the fumble they recovered. Tuskegee, however, able to take big advantage of that fumble deep in Braves territory, 9-yard line to score. Now, these defenses, very good through the majority of the season, with the exception of one game for the Braves where they played North Greenville, giving up, I believe it was 41 points. But for the most part, if you take out that game, this Braves defense averages about 7 points a game given up, excluding that North Greenville game. So a solid young defense for the Braves and a solid defense for Tuskegee, who had a shutout earlier in the season and so far. And Tuskegee has some standout defensive players.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at this Tuskegee defense, it starts with the linebacking crew here. You have Osborne Thompson, the sophomore coming back, freshman of the year, newcomer of the year last year in conference play. And then you have to look in the middle at Jewel Ratliff, number 51. These linebackers are roaming all over the field, and they're headhunting. There's no other word for it. They're looking to just deliver the boom out there. And nothing across the middle is safe right now.
Yeah, Jewel Ratliff having a great season. Is a University of Kentucky transfer, and this is a big kid. He is 6'1", solid, 238 pounds there in the middle of that in the field, and you've seen him come across. Allen attempted to catch that ball across in the field. You saw Jewel Ratliff read that, and he really laid the boom on Allen, and you know that's stuck in Allen's head for the rest of this game. Do I want to cross the field and reach out for that ball? With this monster standing in the middle of the field. So
back of the mind.
He's having a great season, 24 tackles, 22 solo. He has 6 tackles for loss, a sack, and 2 interceptions. He is really a standout player.
And that's what you expect from all conference guys. Definitely coming in. There was a lot of hype around him, a very, very highly accoladed awards and resumes these guys have bringing in. The secondary's also been pretty solid against the Braves, only surrendering 120 yards. I think, though, you have to look at this Braves offensive line holding strong against this strong defensive line. They've been dominating the line of scrimmage and holding off on Tuskegee's blitzes and pass rush.
You mentioned that offensive line. That offensive line is Lawrence Keys, Chris Hassard, Charles Holloway III, DeMarcus Whitehurst, and Jaden Funderburk, all fairly large guys, 6'3", 265 on the outside, but a very athletic offensive line, able to give Patrick O'Brien time to throw the ball. But still talking about these defenses, let's talk about Mike Keck for a second. You mentioned him earlier.
Senior.
He's also having a great season. Senior from Fayetteville, North Carolina, right up the road, homegrown. He has 19 tackles on the season, 14 solo. But this man has 6 sacks and 8 tackles for a loss. This man is absolutely disrupting quarterbacks as this season goes on. And he's already 2.5 sacks ahead of what he had last season, all of last season. So he's really having what potentially could be the best season of his career.
Oh, definitely. Keck was one of those guys on the team really, really disappointed with the season last year, and you could just tell those guys put in a lot of work during the offseason, very productive offseason, and it's showing now. The kid's an animal this season. Nobody can stop him on the edge, and he's hitting everything that's in front of him. Definitely been a big part of Code Black this year and the reason they're looking so effective and dominant on that side of the ball.
Yeah, the Braves defense just given up 101 rushing yards a game so far this season, and we know that Tuskegee's going to stick with the run here in the second half of this ball game. So really, we're going to have a battle of the unstoppable force meets the immovable object here. We're going to have this the running power of Tuskegee meeting the wall that is the Braves defense, and I think it's going to be a matter of which one breaks first.
And there's going to be a lot of collision out there. Usually when there is rain, you expect a ugly, muddy game, a lot of dirt. And the first half, you didn't really see too much rain. Now the fields, it did rain during halftime, so the field's a little bit more muddy. I think both teams have to take care of the ball here. Like you said earlier, Shane, both teams losing one fumble in the first half. Ball security is going to be tight here, and switching things up on the offensive side of the ball. Patrick O'Brien leading this Braves offense so far. He's looked really good, checking down, doing smart reads, not turning the ball over, not forcing much, just playing smart football and making the right plays.
Yeah, Patrick O'Brien, really solid guy. He has thrown 6 interceptions on the season, so he's proved to be inaccurate at times. You saw a couple times he missed B.J. Bunn high. B.J. Bunn snagged a great one-handed catch with his right hand there. So Patrick O'Brien's got to stay mistake-free.
Yeah.
Kevin Lacey only really producing about 75 yards so far. You look for him to have bigger numbers in the rushing department. He's only got 15 yards right now. And I look for him to hold on to that ball a little more, probably give him some more options, allow him to run a bit more. But when you think about a football team and a winning team, you think about a complete game. And so far to this point, both teams, with the one mistake, have played complete games. The only aspect that seems to be different is UNC Pembroke's ability to get the big play.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, the splash plays have definitely made a difference. And it's funny that term since the field's soaking wet. But anyways, yeah, you got to keep looking for all three aspects of the game to keep being affected. I think the Braves have to keep dominating. Special teams will be big in this game because of the weather on both sides. You also have to look at defense, the line of scrimmage. They have to keep control in this line of scrimmage and keep Kevin Lacey in check, because coming into this game, Kevin Lacey is the leading rusher for Tuskegee on the season. You don't see that a lot, the quarterback being the leading rusher on the team. So he's ultimately their playmaker, and we're definitely going to have to key in on that and stay focused.
So keys for the second half here. Kevin Lacey has to have more production in order for the Tuskegee offense to be beneficial.
Has to.
Patrick O'Brien has to stay mistake-free, and the Pembroke defense has to stay strong in the face of this run. Just to wrap it up real quick, I think worth noting you saw some missed tackles there going on in the first half of that ball game. The rain having a factor. These jerseys are wet. These balls are wet. Ultimately, playing in a rainy weather condition like this changes the aspect of any game.
Yeah.
But I'm Shane Irons alongside Brandon Blakeney. That was your halftime report. Coming back with you will be the announcers for the second half of the ball game, and we'll see you guys shortly.
The University of North Carolina at Pembroke was founded in 1887 by American Indians to provide education to the local community to ensure a pathway to success. Today, we're part of the world-renowned University of North Carolina system, but the spirit of our founding still guides us. Our strong academics are exemplified by standout programs in education, athletic training, business, and nursing, and by students working with professors on groundbreaking research. Explore the brave spirit today.
Welcome back to Pembroke. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. Big shout out to our interns, Brandon Blakeney and Shane Irons, for the UNCP Braves halftime show. As we had an extra long halftime for this game because of the homecoming festivities in Pembroke. So it's good to be able to get back to action here. Braves will be kicking off to start the second half. Matt Davis will be kicking deep. And looks like back to return for the Tuskegee Golden Tigers will be number 8, Desmond Reese, as well as number 22, that's Devosia Gaines. Time of possession, pretty even in the first half, 12 minutes and 40 seconds for Tuskegee, 17-20 for the Braves. But, Joe, we saw a lot of rain there at halftime. This field could get even worse.
Yeah, it certainly rained at times even pretty hard as the field took a whole lot of water. You could see perhaps a little bit of some shiny puddling up on the field could play a big role here in the second half.
Returning from the goal line and tripped up short of the 20-yard line. Great special teams play there as they were trying to take down Reese, and they did. So not very good starting field position for Tuskegee, but they will have the ball down by 9 points to start the second half. Let's get back to work.
Yeah, and Kevin Lacey will get back to work for the Golden Tigers as well. In the first half, he was just 4 of 13 passing the ball for 60 yards, and the one interception that he threw, rushed the ball 4 times for just 12 yards as well. Really not that great numbers for him in the first half. He's really got to turn it around if the Golden Tigers are going to start to come back in this one.
They'll be starting from their own 19-yard line, right in the middle of the field. First and 10. 14:54 on the third quarter game clock. And Lacey will come out under center in an I formation. One receiver on each side. And the tailback behind him, that looks like Loyal. Motion along the line before the snap can even come off, and that's going to be a false start against Tuskegee. So another penalty, and that's been a problem for them all season long.
And that was the big left guard, number 77, Chancellor Bell from Rochester, New York, 6'5", 370 pounds. It's hard to hide when you false start when you're that large, and that time Bell got a little bit of an early start playing for Cameron Studdles, who was scratched, the normal starter at that position.
And holy cow, I mean, we're just looking at him in the huddle right now. He makes his other offensive linemen look tiny, like thin. Number 59 standing next to him. That's Demetrius Jackson. He weighs 295 pounds, and he looks thin compared to Chancellor Bell, 370-pound left guard. So first and 15, sack, immediate edge rush, and taking down the quarterback. That's Austin Locklear making the play.
His first full sack of the season, had half a sack coming into this game as he just burst right through. Looked like they forgot to block him, and he was able to get right in and hit Lacey before he even knew what was going to happen.
So 2nd and 19 coming up for Tuskegee. They had the penalty and then the sack, and they're all the way back to their own 10-yard line. They're down 16-7 at the start of the second half. They're trying to stay undefeated. The number 17 team in Division II college football. I formation for Lacey. He will roll the pocket to the right, throwing from near the goal line, looking deep, right sidelines, got a man, too long, incomplete. Good defense there by Kendall Jacobs, running stride for stride with the intended target. I think that's Gardner that they were looking for along the right sideline.
Yeah, and Gardner had about half a step on Jacobs, and if it was a better pass from Lacey, would have been able to pull that one down. He just overthrew him. But how about Lacey showing off a cannon? He threw that one from the goal line, and it flew in the air to about the 45-yard line.
That's the Braves' 45-yard line,
yeah.
not their own 45 line. That's a 55 yards in the air. Just a little bit too much, though. And that brings up 3rd and 19 for Tuskegee now from their own 10-yard line. Code Black, an opportunity to get off the field. One of the stories coming in was how well Code Black has done on 3rd down coming into tonight's game. Opponents averaging just 23% success on 3rd downs through the first 4 games of the season against the UNCP defense. I formation, they will option to the right on the pitch, taking it across the 15 and down to the 16-yard line, short of the original line of scrimmage, and not even close to the line to gain was Keno Loyal, and 3 and out for the Golden Tigers on the first possession of the 3rd quarter.
And a good defensive stand by the Braves. They came up with the big sack, and they used the penalty to their advantage as well to force the 3 and out, as they've just been Well, I think they have been for a majority of the season. Lights out today.
Camuel Lawrence on to punt. We saw him slip on an earlier kickoff, but he seems to be okay. Kicking here from inside his own 5, a high end-over-end kick, retreating back to his own 40. Punt is muffed and fumbled, bouncing back to the 30, maybe 29-yard line, and finally scooped up by the Braves. It's John Allen who fell on that one. And so a huge punt, and that really flips field position, but the Braves do keep possession.
And Allen that time just had that one hit him right in the breadbasket and pop right out. As he was all set to corral it, just couldn't end up securing the ball, and it cost him a couple of yards.
Yeah, he already had to come back as that punt was a lot stronger than he expected. Not too windy, but still, that punt just really surprised him. DeMonte Rem will come in and play tailback for the Braves. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Patrick O'Brien in the shotgun formation as the Braves, in their all-black look, going from left to right across the field. Handoff. This will be Stanley as he takes it off left side, going towards the left sideline, pushed out of bounds, maybe got a yard. Stanley had lined up as a wide receiver, motioned into the backfield, and then got the carry. So gain of maybe a yard for Rontonio Stanley, who had probably the highlight of the first half in that touchdown run.
He certainly did, and that was right at the end that extended the lead back up to, 9 points because the extra point ended up getting missed by Matt Davis. But that was right after a Tuskegee touchdown when you thought, well, maybe they're starting to build some momentum going into the second half. And then the run by Stanley pretty much put a damper on that.
12:57 to go in the third quarter. Braves up 16-7. O'Brien in the pistol formation, looking quick to the right side, setting up a screen for Bunn. Flag comes in along the line of scrimmage. Bunn spun down at the 35-yard line. We'll see what the flag is for. Most likely going to be holding against the Braves. And there's a Tuskegee player down, a little slow to get up. That's number 99, Alante Smith, a transfer from Vermilion Community College in Minnesota. And it's a chop block against the Braves. Smith was, looked like he was in some kind of agony there. He pops right back up, but he kind of slammed the turf with his hand as he came back up. So the big penalty against UNCP will push them back. And the illegal chop block foul. The Braves, coming into tonight's game, 37 penalties for 291 yards. So still not great, but not as bad as Tuskegee in terms of committing penalties. Tuskegee, in their first 4 games, 47 penalties for 474 yards. Like you were talking about, almost 120 yards per game. And in the first half, penalties for both teams under control. Actually, Tuskegee just the 1 penalty for 5 yards. Braves had 4 penalties for 26 yards. So both teams showing good discipline in the first half. We'll see if that continues as the field continues to deteriorate. It's wet, it's muddy, and it's going to just continue to get choppier. Pistol formation, handoff up the middle, trying to dance off right tackle. Nothing there for Rontonio Stanley. I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. Lost a yard. Brings up a 3rd and a mile for the Braves.
At this point, when you've seen Patrick O'Brien have his success today, and really his success for the entire season, it's when they're throwing shorter pass routes, and it's the wide receivers using their athleticism to make the big plays. Here you almost have to think they're going to take a shot down the field to at least pick up some yardage. Even if they're just going to play the field position game, you want to at least put Ben Utter in a position to make it easier for him to try and flip it.
3rd and 25. Braves set up a screen to the left side. It's Span across the 20 to the 25-yard line. He's 5 yards short of the original line of scrimmage. They get about 8 yards there, not much more. And that'll bring out the punting unit for the Braves. They just fell way behind the chains when they committed that chop block foul. The 15-yard penalty really set them up in bad position, and they weren't able to overcome that. So Utter will come out and punt. He's standing near his own 10-yard line, and back deep to return for Tuskegee. Believe that's number 8, Desmond Reese once again. Reese is standing at his own 35. They come after Utter. He gets the punt off. It'll bounce near the 50-yard line and dies right there. And will be down in Braves territory at the 49. So another punt by Ben Utter where he was under some pressure, didn't get a great punt off. Of course, he had the 12-yard punt earlier. This one's a little bit better than that, but still outstanding starting field position for the Golden Tigers as they will start their second possession of the second half. Down by 9 points, 11-13 to play in the third quarter. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer on the Braves Radio Network. 16-7 is the 3-1 Braves against the 4-0 Golden Tigers. It's been a fun one so far.
It definitely has. We've seen a lot of, or some of what we've expected in terms of a lot of keeping the ball on the ground, a lot of running at both teams, and thought of maybe a little bit more of a defensive battle, but still very good football being played by both sides.
I formation, pitch right. The tailback gets about 3 or 4 yards. This is Brooks. He is short of the 45-yard line, so he gets about 3 yards, we'll call it. And we'll make it 2nd and 7 for Tuskegee. Ball in Braves territory on the 46-yard line. 2nd and 8 coming up. 10:52 to go in the third quarter. That was an I formation. I don't think we've seen much of Ken O'Loyle here in the second half. It's been Tyree Brooks. He was probably the projected starter coming into the season, but only got his first start or his first action last week. Dropping back to pass now to the I formation. Flushed out, rolling to the right is Lacey. He's got some room. He'll tuck and run, and he'll go out of bounds near the first down marker, but it brings up 3rd and maybe a yard for the Golden Tigers.
Yeah, he ended up going out of bounds right at about the 40-yard line. They need to get to the 38. But a good job again. It's been using his legs as Lacey to extend some plays, pick up some yardage on the ground, and that's really where he's had his most success today, because it certainly has been with throwing the football.
Well, you look at his build, he's not built like a quarterback. He's built more like a wide receiver, 6'6", 175. They really try to avoid him getting hit too much in the pocket. He's got really good pocket presence in terms of avoiding pressure and then trying to move up the field. 3rd and 3, high snap out of the pistol formation. This throw is in there on the comeback route, complete for a first down. That's Markel Gardner down to the 35-yard line, and that will move the chains for Tuskegee.
And for Gardner, just his second catch of the game. He's got 2, Desmond Reese has 3, and that is it for the Golden Tigers on offense.
Tuskegee trying to move the ball down the field and cut into this 9-point lead. 16-7, Braves have the lead. 9:35 to play, third quarter. Tuskegee driving on the Braves' 34-yard line. 1st and 10. Pistol formation with 2 backs with him. Lacey drops back, has time, looks right side, caught, first down, pushed hard out of bounds, making the catch. That looked like number 16. Check that, number 2, Markel Gardner. Big hit, though. Coming in to make that tackle, Garrett Barnett, the linebacker, chasing him down.
That was enough to pick up the first down, so they'll move the chains as he was taken down right at that marker.
Good route run there by Gardner, the senior, with more than 100 career catches. As the Golden Tigers, come out in an I formation, 2 receivers, 1 on each side. Lacey under center. Deep back is Brooks. They will hand off to him. Some room up the middle. He picks up 3, maybe 4 yards, and he's stopped near the 20-yard line. But maybe we'll mark him short. We'll see where they give him forward progress. They will mark him down at the 21-yard line, so 2nd and 7 coming up for Tuskegee. Time for Code Black to step up and make a play. And the Braves, on the opening drive of the first half, saw Tuskegee march all the way down the field and then cough up the ball on an option pitch inside the 10-yard line. I don't know if the same luck will be with the home team in the second half, but it was pretty good for the Braves. Really, the only miscue was a fumble and a missed extra point. Dropping back to pass is Lacey. He looks over the middle. Incomplete. Over the head of his receiver. Looking for Desmond Reese. He got his fingertips on it, but it sails over the back of the end zone.
Yeah, and he had Reese open there in the end zone. He had gotten in behind the coverage that time, going up against Jonas Johnson, the backup cornerback, playing on the right side. Got in behind him, had the opening, but just overthrew him. We've seen that a lot today, though, for Lacey, overthrowing his receivers. Don't know whether it's just he's not able to get a good grip on the ball as he's throwing it down with it being wet, and it's just coming out of his hand a little bit too early, though.
Sun peeks through the clouds again at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. It seems suddenly bright out here. I formation, play clock down to 5, 8:06 to go in the quarter. Looking for the slant, caught, first down inside the 10 to the 5, and trying to wrestle the man down. Gardner makes the catch, holds on to the ball. He got hit a couple times there, and it brings up 1st and goal for Tuskegee.
Yeah, it was eventually Kendall Jacobs who wrestled him down to the turf. But he was doing a good job on that play to just find a hole in the zone that the Braves were playing, and he got hit right between right in the center of the 1 number that he wears. right
it's
there.
Hard to say between the numbers when he's a single-digit number.
Yes.
So first and goal from the 4-yard line for Tuskegee. UNCP brings on a heavy package. Late man comes in for the Golden Tigers. He lines up on the far right. Play clock down to 5. They will hand off to the fullback, and he is short of the goal line, maybe picked up a yard or two. And it's second and goal for the Golden Tigers. Trying to stay unbeaten. They're one of 26 unbeatens in Division II coming into this weekend slate of games. 4-0 on the season after a 9-3 campaign a year ago. The Braves at 3-1 after going 2-8 last year in the inaugural campaign for head coach Shane Richardson. They gave him 1.5 yards there, so second and goal from the 2. 7 minutes to play. Braves up 16-7. Tuskegee trying to cut into that right now. Well, the Braves will still have a lead after this possession no matter what. Motion man goes from left to right. 2 receivers on the right side. Flag comes in. Pitch to the right side. Running back is in the end zone for a touchdown. That's Tyree Brooks on the running back pitch play. They have not signaled for a touchdown. Flags come in, and we'll see what they call it. It's an illegal formation against Tuskegee, so the touchdown wiped out, and that will back them up 5 yards.
And remember the late receiver coming on right at the end because they only had 10 men on the field to get that 11th man out there. Perhaps just lined up in the wrong spot. You're supposed to be off the line of scrimmage he was on, or vice versa. Ended up getting flagged for it.
So that pushes them back to the 7-yard line. Second and goal once again for Tuskegee. They will take their time in this huddle, make sure they actually break the huddle with 11 men, and it looks like they do. 1 receiver to the left, 1 to the right, a tight end on the left side as well, a fullback and a running back. The tailback is Brooks with Kevin Lacey under center. He will roll to the right. It's an option. They pitch to Brooks. He tries to get the corner. It is not there, and the Braves drag him down. Number 24, Kendall Jacobs leading the charge. Loss of 1 on the play. Third and goal from the 8. And here we go. Another big moment in this game, Joe.
Yeah, we've seen, now this is the third time that, Tuskegee has had a goal-to-go situation. The one time they fumbled, the other time they got in. See if Code Black can come up with another stop here.
Play clock at 15. Game clock showing 6:09 in the third quarter. Scoreboard says 16-7 Braves lead. Tuskegee doesn't necessarily need a touchdown here, but I don't think they want to settle for 3 points, and their kicking game has been somewhat of an adventure this year. Shotgun formation. They will keep it on the option, and tripped up in the backfield and taken down. No gain on the play. Lacey might have even lost a yard. Braves were there. Mike Keck. Who else makes the stop?
Just a great job by Keck, who had spent most of that defensive series on the sideline with Khalil Vance's backup in there at the defensive end position. Comes on when Code Black needs him the most and comes up with the big play.
Mike Keck came into today's game with 6 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss, and makes a big tackle for a loss there. On to attempt the field goal is number 19, Kemuel Lawrence. This will be about a 25-yarder. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is straight through. And with 5:13 to play in the third quarter, Tuskegee gets on the board, the first team to score in the second half. But the Braves still have the lead. It's 16-10. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to the Braves Radio Network.
The University of North Carolina at Pembroke was founded in 1887 by American Indians to provide education to the local community to ensure a pathway to success. Today, we're part of the world-renowned University of North Carolina system, but the spirit of our founding still guides us. Our strong academics are exemplified by standout programs in education, athletic training, business, and nursing, and by students working with professors on groundbreaking research. Explore the Brave spirit today.
Welcome back to Pembroke, Lumbee Guarantee Bank Field for the homecoming game, UNCP and Tuskegee. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. Thank you for joining us. It's been a good one so far. Tuskegee scores the first points of the third quarter after both teams' opening drives of the second half come up empty. 5:13 to go in the quarter as the clouds continue to roll back in over the stadium. And we'll see if any more rain comes in. This field, I don't know how much more rain this field could take, Joe.
No, it's Certainly not much. I mean, you saw at halftime when it rained for about 20 out of the 25 minutes that halftime took. It did not look very good down there on the field, and you could see on the sidelines where everyone's standing, just a mess.
Long kick, and out of the back of the end zone, Kemuel Lawrence with a bomb there on that kickoff. He handles kickoff duties, extra point, field goal, and punting duties for Tuskegee. We saw him slip a little bit on a kickoff earlier. That was the first one he sent out of the back of the end zone. We worried that he might have pulled a hammy, and he appears to be fine. If anything, he's stronger than ever. And the touchback gives the Braves the ball on their own 25-yard line. Patrick O'Brien and his team trying to get back to work and putting more points on the board. Try to break that 17-point barrier that's proved elusive for a while for Code Black. Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Pistol formation for O'Brien. Handoff up the middle, wrapped up in the backfield, and Stanley, all he can do is just hold on to the football there. That was an absolute jailbreak. He lost 4 yards.
Not much that Stanley could do on that one. As, again, still surprised to see that Stanley's the only running back other than one carry for Cliff Jones that has toted the ball so far. Just talked about some of the four horsemen, if you will, in the backfield for the Braves, and it's been the Rontonio Stanley show today. Why not? 8 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown.
I'll say he only lost 2 there as he kind of rolled backwards for the loss of 4. Shotgun formation for O'Brien now. Steps up in the pocket, throws short, complete over the middle to Rich. He dances across the 25 to about the 26. And they'll bring up 3rd and long for the Braves. Not much there on a little check down from O'Brien to number 18, John Rich. He makes another catch, though.
Yeah, 3rd catch of the game for John Rich. Sets up a 3rd and long, though. Picked up a couple of yards that were lost and then a few as well. Now John Allen checks into the game as Zelius Morrow comes out for an extra receiver. Looks like they're going to go 4 wide with Stanley still in the backfield.
Stanley is to the left of O'Brien. Ball is near the left hash. Under 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. 2 receivers on each side. O'Brien gets the snap. Tuskegee brings pressure. Throw over the middle, complete to Bunn to the 30. Stiff arm, and he is down across the 35. First down. He might have dove out near the 40-yard line. We'll see where they spot him. It's more than enough for a first down, and that's a big conversion for the Braves on 3rd and 9.
Yeah, just a great use of this stiff arm by B.J. Bunn to get that extra leverage and push things forward for a first down to be able to get around the corner. Good job by the leading receiver for the Braves.
Bunn will stay out there. He's on the left side of this formation. Out there with 2 other receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right as well. So O'Brien all alone in the backfield. 5 wide receivers and just 4 down linemen for Tuskegee. They will rush just 4. O'Brien steps up in the pocket, throws complete over the middle to Bunn across midfield. He jukes, now cuts outside. He has some room along the left sideline. 40, 35, and he's pushed out at the 33-yard line. Field vision, B.J. Bunn. How about it?
All right, just another great play. He knew he had some room to the outside. Couple of juke moves at midfield to allow his blocks to get set up. And then just a great job again by Bunn. And how about Patrick O'Brien delivering that one down the middle of the field with confidence and striking Bunn.
That almost looks something like more like a kick or a punt return for B.J. Bunn. You throw it to him short, let his blockers get out in front of him and just see what he sees. And that time, B.J. Bunn delivers for the Braves. They'll actually call him out near the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Braves into Tuskegee territory. 4-man rush. O'Brien steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle, complete. First down once again. Diving catch by number 29, Huffman, and he's down at the 20-yard line.
And O'Brien's in a real good groove right now. 19 of 28 in this game for approaching 200 yards. One of his best games of the season.
And he's doing it in poor conditions. It's a wet field. The ball is slippery. It's not raining right now. And, you know, the equipment staff doing a good job of rotating the ball in and out. But as soon as that ball touches the turf, it's getting wet. It's getting hard to throw. And O'Brien's doing a great job. The redshirt junior transferred here from UNC Charlotte, leading his Braves down the field. 8 on the play clock, 2:17 on the 3rd quarter game clock. Braves up 6, trying to extend. O'Brien steps up to throw, looks right side, and overthrows Rich by a couple steps, let him out of bounds. And it's an incomplete pass, stops the clock with 2:09 to play 3rd quarter.
And that one right there, not as great of a pass from O'Brien. He had Rich down right around the goal line, just didn't get enough mustard on that one to get it all the way to him.
So 2nd and 10 from the Tuskegee 19-yard line. Braves have the 16-10 advantage. Rontonio Stanley stays in the game as the running back. B.J. Bunn out there all alone on the left side of the formation. 3 receivers to the right. Tuskegee took some time to rotate some linebacker, some of those front 7 guys in and out. Play clock down to 6. Motion man. They will pitch it to Huffman. Is on the sweep. He tries to cut it to the left side. Hurdles a defender and taken down to about the 17-yard line. Brings up a 3rd and 8 for the Braves. Remember, they don't need a touchdown on this possession. They can try to kick a field goal and go up by 2 scores, but I think you might try to take a shot at the end zone here.
Well, I don't see why you wouldn't just try and keep marching it down the field. You don't want to settle for a field goal, especially not this early in the game. Still plenty of football left to go.
A minute 40 to go in the third quarter. Seems like this third quarter is really zipped by. This is just the second possession for the Braves. 2 receivers on each side. O'Brien drops back to pass. 3-man rush, steps up in the pocket. He will try to run it. He doesn't have anything there. Takes it to the middle of the field, about the 16-yard line. Gains a yard. Brings up 4th and 7. Line to gain was the 10-yard line. O'Brien takes it down to about the 16-yard line. And looks like they'll try out the field goal unit. Matt Davis to attempt another kick. 1 for 1 on field goals today, but 1 for 2 on extra points. This will be right near the middle of the field, about a 32-yard attempt. B.J. Bunt to hold on the left hash. Under a minute to play in the quarter. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is no good. Matt Davis misses wide right. The Braves take it into the red zone and come up empty. 51 seconds to play third quarter, and this is still a 1-score game.
Yeah, Davis kicking into the wind that time, going left to right. And that was the same direction that he missed the extra point in earlier in this game as well. Did the same thing, pushed it wide right. I don't wonder if that wind's a little bit of a factor, and obviously the poor field conditions.
So the ball gets respotted at the 20-yard line for the Golden Tigers. They will come back out on offense. You got to think they have a little bit of momentum coming off that missed kick. Kevin Lacey, the quarterback for Tuskegee, leads his troops back out onto the field. He's in a pistol formation, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, a fullback to his left, and a tailback behind him. He gets the snap. Handoff goes up the middle, a little bit of room, and falling down with a splash is Ken O'Loyal. He got maybe 3 or 4 yards as he dove forward.
And now you're really starting to see the once white Tuskegee uniform tops start to blend in with the same color of the mud of the turf, especially for Loyal, just taking a beating out there, splashed down right into a big, what was really a big problem area earlier today. Looks like there's even some standing water down there right about the 20-yard line.
2nd and 6 coming up from their own 24-yard line. Game clock down to 17 in the third quarter for Tuskegee. They do need to run a play. Dropping back to pass is Lacey. He's pressured, rolls out of the pocket, breaks a tackle, will throw deep along the sidelines, tipped, and broken up. Couple Braves had a shot at that. Kendall Jacobs might have gotten a hand on it, and then a diving attempt for an interception by Jonas Johnson. He can't come up with it. 3rd down.
Yeah, and Chris Phipps, the linebacker, hit a big lick that time on Lacey, the quarterback. Right after he released it, he was closing down on him, and he threw that one down the field. It got tipped by Jacobs, and then Phipps just blew up Lacey.
6 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 3rd and 6 from the Tuskegee 24-yard line. They need to get it to the 30-yard line. Play clock down to 8. They just now break the huddle, hustling up to the line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Lacey knows he's not going to be able to get this play off, and he calls timeout. We will keep it here, though, since we know we're going to get a timeout in about 6 more seconds of game action. Really surprising sequence of events here as the rain starts to come back down in Pembroke. We can also see the sun peeking around the clouds as this game really starting to take on a different feel. It starts to feel more like a gladiator battle in the rain as it really starts to pick up now. And these teams know that it's going to be really a battle of wills in the last 15 minutes.
It certainly will, and kind of what's coming down, at least looking at the radar, is just a little pop-up cell. This happens all the time for those unfamiliar with weather conditions here in southeastern North Carolina. You'll just have little storms that pop up. They could be intense at times, and then as soon as they come, they're gone. And that seems to be what we experienced a little bit at halftime and what's going on out on the field right now. But this should be a very interesting 15 minutes of football, especially if Tuskegee is able to convert on this 3rd down.
The reason the rain becomes more of a factor is because the field is already so saturated. It's muddy. On one of those last tackles, like I said, Loyal splashed down. That was no exaggeration. You could literally see the water flying off him as he was taken down for the tackle. Offense back out on the field, I formation, 3rd and 6 from their own 24 with 6 seconds left in the third quarter. Down by 6 points. Tuskegee needs the first down here, or else they'd give the ball back to the Braves. Option run right side. They have the pitch. He has the corner. He has a first down and then some. And taken down across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Keno Loyal showing the burst of speed there. And Tuskegee keeps their drive alive. The third quarter has come to an end. 15 minutes of football left to go in this one. Braves leading Tuskegee 16-10 on homecoming in Pembroke. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to UNCP Braves football.
At the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, our student athletes find balance between their academic and athletic activities. With graduation rates higher than the national average, our athletes excel in academics and have won the Peach Belt Conference President's Academic Award twice in the last 4 years. Since 2009, 43 athletes have been named NCAA All-Americans, and last year, 40 made All-Conference. Catch their winning spirit and support the Braves.
The teams switch sides of the field. Tuskegee will now be going from left to right into that problem north end zone. And Joe, you're looking at the weather right now. What do you see?
Well, looks like all systems are clear as the rain that we were talking about seems to already have moved out.
So a very quick sell, and the forecast, the radar, not seeming to show anything else coming up through Pembroke. And they need to get through about another 15 minutes of game clock. Braves holding on to a 6-point lead. Tuskegee driving from their own 34-yard line. 1st and 10, 3 receivers, trips to the left. Out of the shotgun, Lacey drops back to pass, sets up a screen on the left side, complete. And the wide receiver doesn't have a lot there. Kept the legs going as he spins down to near the 40-yard line. Taken down for a gain of about 6. That's number 8, Desmond Reese making the catch. So the Braves defense trying to bend but not break. But a turnover would also be nice.
Yeah, certainly. And, well, bend but not break has been pretty much the theme of the season for Code Black. They sometimes will give up some yards, but they end up coming up with some kind of big play. They need to come up with a big one here to get the ball back in the hands of the offense to try and put the final nail in the coffin in this one.
2nd and 4 from their own 40 for Tuskegee. Triple option. They will run it to the right. Looking to throw, and he will be breaking a tackle, still on his feet, and across the 45 to the 50, taken down near midfield, a first down run. That's Leo Gilbert, the tight end, who motioned into the backfield. They pitched to him on the option, and then he was looking deep, broke a tackle, and then got the first down run. Holy cow.
Yeah, it looked like Gilbert was going to be bottled up, but somewhere found a cutback lane, was able to slip a tackle and pick up a first down, and well, another run for a tight end.
Why not?
See more of those today.
Hey, the Braves had it working for a little bit, and they also was the only turnover today. Azaleas Morrow, the Braves tight end, has the fumble. Mm-hmm. The story through 3 quarters, I think, has been Tuskegee's ability to convert on third downs. 5 of 12, where coming into today, Braves opponents were converting just 23%. Option to the left now. Pitch goes to Loyal. He's trying to get the left corner. Breaks across the 45 into Braves territory, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 3 or 4 for the Golden Tigers. They're starting to wear Code Black a little bit.
Yeah, they look much sharper here in the second half coming out of the locker room than they did in that first half. They've been running the ball better, and more importantly, Lacey has been throwing the ball much better in this second half as well, and they've been able to move the ball. They've only got 3 points to show for it on the scoreboard, but if this keeps up, it'll be more than that very soon.
Well, that adds to the 7 points they had in the first half. 16-10 is your score. Under 13 minutes to play now in the ball game. Tuskegee trying to take the lead on this drive. Dropping back to pass. Plenty of time for Lacey. He completes it across the 40 and pushed out of bounds. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. I'm surprised we don't see a late flag on that catch. But pushed out is Desmond Reese. He has the first down deep into Braves territory now. Inside the 35. Check that, inside the 40. pushed out at the 37-yard line on the gain of about 7 on that comeback route.
Either way, another first down that was picked out for the Golden Tigers.
I formation now for Tuskegee. Lacey under center. He has a fullback and a tailback behind him. One receiver to each side. Ball on the 37. Play clock down to 2. They will pitch right. Loyal trying to get the corner. Flag comes in. He breaks another tackle, still on his feet across the 35, pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and a flag comes in on a late hit. There was a flag near the line of scrimmage. I think it might have been a illegal block against Tuskegee, but if it wasn't, the Braves just gave up a bunch of yards on the late hit out of bounds.
And Shane Richardson is not happy with the late hit out of bounds. Not that the penalty got thrown, but he's not happy with Mike Keck, who was the one who drew the penalty.
Officials now will take their time to talk it over. Run itself wasn't that spectacular. Gain of about 3 on first down from the Braves' 37-yard line. And we'll get the official signal. At least I thought we would.
No. Well, now we'll finally get it.
Hold.
It's a chop block going against Tuskegee. That's the first penalty flag.
And then we'll also see.
And they're going to.
This is going to be the late hit out of bounds against the Braves. So do those penalties offset? I think they do. And I think we'll just play that over. We saw something like this in the first half, but the other way, where the Braves had the chop block, and then a penalty was committed by Tuskegee upfield, and the big gain for UNCP was wiped out. This time just a 3-yard run that gets wiped out, but the Braves kind of dodging a bullet in that late hit is not going to hurt them.
Actually, no, looks like they're going to walk off the chop block, and then they're going to walk off the late hit out of bounds, because the chop block happened during the play and the late hit out of bounds was a dead ball penalty. So you count them both.
You can't offset them.
Yeah, they can't offset because one was a dead ball foul and one was in the course of the play. So literally the umpire just walked back 15 yards and then forward 15 yards, and it's 1st and 10 as if the penalty's offset anyway.
I love football, Joe. That's awesome. That is just hilarious. 1st and 10 once again for Tuskegee from the Braves' 37-yard line. I formation, one receiver on each side for Lacey, who's under center. He drops back to pass, sets up a screen along the left side, and there's nothing there. I don't think the offensive line got the memo. Flag comes in late. 2 flags fly, and a little bit of pushing and shoving going on at the end of the play once again. The Braves coaches in the box to the left of us calling out they wanted to hear a holding penalty.
And we'll see if that's what it is, though.
There's one of those flags is a holding penalty.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, if I'm the Braves, I'm almost inclined to decline the penalty and just take the loss
of
the yards and the
down.
downs.
Yeah.
But I could certainly understand the wanting to set up 1st and 20.
1st and 20 has a real way of messing with the team psychologically. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They'll mark off the 10 yards. 1st and 20 now as Tuskegee will move back to the Braves' 47-yard line. Clock stopped at 11:53 to play in the 4th quarter. Braves up 16-10. Coming off the missed field goal by Matt Davis. Tuskegee trying to respond with a drive of their own. A touchdown here would mean that extra point becomes really important. Tuskegee has been perfect on extra points. Matt Davis, 1 for 2 on extra points, 1 for 2 on field goal attempts. The I formation is Lacey. He pump fakes, now looking deep, lofts one down the left side. There is no one there. Flags come in late, and that'll be a pass interference on the Braves as they were grappling with the wide receiver there, and I think they grabbed a hold of the jersey.
Yeah, it looked like Jonas Johnson in coverage that time had a hold of the jersey as Tyreek Holloway was the one who was the closest to that one, the safety for the Braves. The flags coming down all the way back at about the 32-yard line.
They were looking for Desmond Reese along the far sideline there. So Lacey just lobbed it up. At first I thought that's clearly a miscommunication because there's no one there, and then you realize, oh, there's no one there because the Braves nearly tackled the receiver about 7 yards upfield. The hold goes against the Braves. They'll mark off 10 yards, and we'll go back to the original line of scrimmage.
So you're telling me that it's 1st and 10 from the 37? For the third time.
At risk of sounding like a broken record, yes. It is 1st and 10 from the 37. The first time that happened, there were penalties that ultimately offset. Then there was a penalty against Tuskegee that pushed it back on the second 1st and 10 from the 37. And now on 1st and 20 from the 47, a 10-yard penalty against the Braves. 1st and 10 from, they'll call it the 38. Sure, why not? I formation, dropping back to pass is Lacey. He has time, looking near sideline, has a man, caught, no, dropped. Dropped at the 1-yard line, incomplete. Markel Gardner had a walk-in touchdown. He couldn't corral it.
Yeah, Gardner was as good as in the end zone, and he dropped the pass. Just an absolute killer for the Golden Tigers. But on the plus side, Groundhog Day is over, and it's 2nd and 10.
I almost don't even know what to say. It feels like we've been in 1st down and 10 from near the 37-yard line for the last 5 minutes or so, as these teams just can't seem to get out of each other's way right now with the committing penalties, getting out of their own way, what have you. So here we go. It feels like it's like a new football game all of a sudden. 11:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Braves up 16-10. I formation for Lacey. He's under center. One receiver to the left, one to the right. He will roll the pocket to the left. He's getting chased. He needs to get rid of it. He throws it back over the middle, and it is caught inside the 5-yard line diving, and they will mark him down. What a catch by Leo Gilbert. He went to his knees inside the 5 and then stretched forward. Obviously, the play is dead once he catches the ball on his knees at the 3-yard line. This is the NFL. That's a touchdown. In college, it's just a spectacular catch.
Yeah,
whatever.
But a great play by the tight end, Gilbert. We've seen him be very active, both in catching the ball and running the ball, doing a little bit of everything and nearly coming up with a touchdown that time.
1st and goal from the 2 now for Tuskegee, trying to take the lead. A touchdown here ties it, and then the ensuing extra point would give them the lead. Under 11 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Braves up by 6. I formation with a couple of tight ends in the formation. Just one receiver. He's split out wide right. Lacey under center. He hands off fullback. Charging forward. Did he get the goal line? He did not. They'll mark him down at the 1. Jerome Lewis on the carry, and a host of Braves there to push him back. 2nd and goal from the 1 now. The Golden Tigers need to advance the ball about 3 more feet into the end zone to tie this football game up. They will actually spot the ball inside the 1. The tail end of the ball is sitting on the 1-yard line. The nose of the ball on about a half-yard line away. Again, 2 tight ends, 1 on each side. The receiver out right is Gardner. Lacey under center. They'll motion one of the tight ends to the right side. In the I formation, Lacey keeps it. He's in. Touchdown, Tuskegee. Ties up the game with exactly 10 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Just the QB sneak. He stays upright and gets in behind the left guard. That's Chancellor Bell, your favorite man on this Tuskegee team.
Yeah, and just a great drive by the Golden Tigers to take that all the way down. Had that little bit of a break at the 37-yard line for about 5 minutes, and then were able to plunge it down all the way into the end zone to tie this one up, and now with a chance to take their first lead of the game.
Samuel Lawrence, the kicker, on to attempt the go-ahead extra point. Travis Hawkins, the senior, on to hold for this big extra point. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. And with 10 minutes to play in the game, Tuskegee has their first lead of the game. It's 17-16. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to UNCP Braves football. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a career that is both rewarding and has growth potential? Have you considered accounting? The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that employment opportunities for accountants will increase by 22% over the next 10 years. For general information about becoming an accountant, visit www.startheregoplaces.com and then call 910-521-6214 to learn more about the accounting program at the University of North Carolina at Pembroke.
Tuskegee with the long drive. They take the lead. UNCP trying to come back and score an upset victory on homecoming in Pembroke. Lumpy Guarantee Bank Field at Grace P. Johnson Stadium in Pembroke, North Carolina, the site of today's Division II college football action. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer. Thank you so much for joining us on the Braves Radio Network and online on YouTube.com, on the Braves YouTube channel if you're watching the video stream as well. I highly recommend it. It's nice to have the video as well as the audio, but no matter how you're following today's game, thank you so much for joining us. Kicking off is Lawrence. 2 Braves back to return. 10 minutes to play, still a lot of football left. JoJo Span will take this one from the 10-yard line. He will cut it up the near sideline, looking for a block. He gets it across the 25 to the 30, still on his feet, 35-40, dragged down. That might have been the kicker who actually dragged him down. It wasn't. It looked like he could have been. Dragged down at the 41-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Braves.
And we've seen the Braves now in the 2 opportunities that they've gotten to actually return a kick from Lawrence, take it out across the 40-yard line. Remember, Taryn Huffman leading off the game on the opening kickoff was able to take it up to the 41. Now it's JoJo Span's turn to have a big return as Lawrence kicked a couple into the end zone when he had the wind at his back, and now kicking into the wind, a shorter kickoff and great field position for the Braves to start things off as a 5-yard penalty going against Tuskegee will push the ball up all the way to the 46.
So 1st and 10 for the Braves from their own 46-yard line. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Tuskegee coming up to the line. They're going to play press coverage against B.J. Bunn along the near side. 9:52 to go in the game. O'Brien in the shotgun. Play clock still at 20, and the game clock stopped. So he has time to make an adjustment. Stanley will move from the left side to the right side in the backfield.
Press coverage on the outside, but 1 guy on 2 guys in the slot.
Slant over the middle, caught by Rich. Enough for a first down. He's still on his feet across the 35. Ball comes out. And who has it? Tuskegee thinks they've fallen on it. We'll see who emerges from the bottom of this pile. Rich broke a tackle, caught it at the 40, and the fumble occurred near the Tuskegee 30-yard line. Braves first down. Whoo!
Yeah, looked like it was JoJo Span who was able to fall on that fumble. But as I said, right before the snap, John Rich and JoJo Span, both in the slot, had only 1 guy covering on them, despite the press coverage on the outside, and it was Rich who was able to get open to the inside and make that catch, and then a great job by Span to be right there to pick that fumble up.
9:25 to go as the Braves are already nearing field goal territory. Low snap, handoff up the middle. Stanley dances forward. He's across the 25 near the 20-yard line. He's taken down, appears just short of the 20-yard line, and it might be enough for a first down. They will signal first down Braves. So a 10-yard run by Rontonio Stanley. And they're now just inches away from the red zone, trying to come back and take the lead right back. It's 17-16 Tuskegee. Braves driving. 9 minutes to go in this game. A fullback and a running back in the backfield with Patrick O'Brien. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's B.J. Bunn, all alone on the far side of the field. 10 on the play clock. O'Brien gets the snap. They will read option. O'Brien keeps. He tries to dance to the outside, diving down to about the 17-yard line. Picks up 4, maybe 5 yards on that option keeper.
Good job by O'Brien to keep it to himself. A little bit slow to get up, but he's helped up by his teammates. He's A-OK as now Martin Munn comes off. Zelius Morrow looks like checks in. He's the tight end, but he's going to be split wide all the way out to the left on the near side of the field.
B.J. Bunn alone on the far right. Shotgun formation. 2nd down and 7 for the Braves from their opponent's 17-yard line. In the red zone, play clock down to 7. Braves down by a single point. Shotgun formation, handoff up the middle for Stanley. He tries to break a tackle. He can't do it. Back to the line of scrimmage, nothing else. And it brings up 3rd and 6 for the Braves.
I could see the Braves going back to the air here on 3rd and 6. Trying to pick up this first down.
Shane Richardson having a word on the sideline with Matt Davis, the kicker, who's already missed 1 field goal and 1 extra point in this game, but he might be called on here in a big moment if the Braves are not able to get this first down. Play clock at 15, game clock showing 7:35 to go, and the Braves down by a single point. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers on each side. O'Brien with Stanley to his right. Low snap, 4-man rush, stepped up in the pocket, throws left side, caught by Rich, leaping catch across the 10 to the 8-yard line. First down, Braves. Not a great throw, but a pretty darn good catch by Rich, and a great effort after the catch to dive forward, left hash, 8-yard line, 1st and goal for the Braves going in.
And Rich at 6'3", 210, a pretty big target for O'Brien, so you don't need to give him the perfect located pass for him to be able to pull that one in. And that's exactly the case with that one. Season-high 5 catches for Rich on the game.
Came after a 2014 campaign where he had just 22 catches all of last season for 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. Pistol formation, handoff up the middle for Stanley. He keeps the legs going. He's down to the 5, maybe 4-yard line. He picks up about half the distance they needed to get to the goal line there. 2nd and goal coming up for the Braves. As Stanley a little slow to get up. He's pulled up by one of his offensive linemen. That's Lawrence Keys, the left tackle, pulling him back up. As Stanley's really been a workhorse back today for the Braves. Haven't seen much of Jones or Staten or Rem. Stanley's been pretty darn good, however. 6:30 to go. 17-16 ball game. Braves trying to come back. Two receivers right. Shotgun formation for O'Brien. Two tight ends. And a running back. Low snap. They will get the handoff off. Stanley breaks one tackle. He's spinning. He's still on his feet. He's near the goal line. Ball came out as he was down. He was down at the 1-yard line. Wow. Tuskegee was ready to fall on that in their end zone for a touchback. Instead, they'll say he was down at about the 1. Rain starts coming down once again in Pembroke as the umbrellas come up on the bleachers in front of us. 3rd and goal from the 1. Is your heart pounding yet? This is a great football game. Under 6 minutes to play. Braves getting some substitutions in. 15 seconds on the play clock. Munn is out there as a fullback. O'Brien with Stanley behind him. Bunn and Rich split out wide left. Play clock down to 3. Handoff up the middle for Stanley. Did he get the end zone? Pyle moves forward. Touchdown, Braves! Rontonio Stanley punches it in. 22-17 with 5:29 to play in the ball game. And it looks like the Braves will keep the offense on the field. They want to go for 2. It's a 5-point game right now. They've decided that making it a 6-point game doesn't help them very much. And Martin Munn, the fullback, he was fired up after that last touchdown. He was, pumping his fist and running all around in circles. He comes to the sideline. They'll go 4 receivers. Check that, 3 receivers with a tight end Morrow to the right. O'Brien in a pistol formation with Rontonio Stanley behind him. Can Tuskegee come up and make a play, keep this lead at 5? They will play fake, another play fake, and now a throw over the middle, touchdown! Did he make the catch? Is the 2-point conversion good? No! The ball hit the ground and it was a trap. The 2-point conversion no good. As they were looking for Morrow on a crazy spinning throw, they faked the sweep, they faked the handoff. O'Brien hit as he throws, now trying to get a word in edgewise with the official. He's not going to have it. 5:29 to go. Braves leading 22-17, kicking off when we come back. Stay tuned.
When I came to UNC Pembroke, I kind of fit in and realized that this place is right for me.
They want you to figure out what you're good at and what kind of job can you actually get with whatever you're good at.
We are the College of Arts and Sciences at UNCP.
Back here in Pembroke, where the Braves have taken a 22-17 lead over the number 17 Tuskegee Golden Tigers. With Joe Vasile, I'm Cameron Songer on the Braves Radio Network. And Joe, what a drive that was by the Braves. Gut check.
It was exactly what they needed on offense after surrendering the lead for the first time in this game. They need to come back and have a nice statement drive, eat some time up off the clock, and more importantly, get into the end zone. That's exactly what they did. Now the 2-point conversion was no good, so it's just a 5-point lead, but you got to have faith in Code Black going out there to come up with a big stop.
Matt Davis on to kick. High end-over-end kick will be fielded near the goal line by number 8, Desmond Reese. He takes it back, looking left side, has a couple blockers in front of him across the 25, 30, 35, and down short of the 40-yard line. Down to about the 39-yard line. Good starting field position for Tuskegee. 5:21 to go in this game. They can take their time, but they do need a touchdown.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's take your time but hurry up and get into the end zone. You've got to get the touchdown. Obviously, a field goal does you no good. And then at that point, you hope, if you're the Golden Tigers, that you've eaten up enough time off the clock that you don't let the Braves have a chance at coming back and scoring. But with 5:21 left, you can't really be too picky about when you do it. You just got to worry about doing it.
Well, going back to that decision to go for 2 by the Braves, hindsight is obviously 20/20, and kicking the extra point there, which is not a guarantee. Matt Davis just 1 for 2 on extra points so far today. Would have made it a 6-point game and put the pressure on Tuskegee's extra point kicker that would have potentially been a game winner. Dropping back to pass is Lacey, and he is wrapped up and sacked. Mike Keck there and takes him down for a sack.
Well, there it is. Mike Keck once again getting himself in the backfield and doing a great job as he has all season long. Keck just so good.
He came into the game with 6 sacks and 8 total tackles for a loss. That sack goes for a loss of 7 as he drilled Kevin Lacey. But to finish that earlier thought, I don't think there are any regrets on the UNCP sideline to go for 2 in that situation and try to make it a 7-point game rather than 6.
No, that's the right call in that situation, because whether it's a 5-point game or a 6-point game, a touchdown wins it for Tuskegee. So you go for 2 to try and push it to 7.
Flag before this play can even get started. This means it's most likely a false start against the Golden Tigers. And there it is, false start against Tuskegee. So what was 2nd and 17 now becomes 2nd and 22. This backs them up to their own 24-yard line. So that big kickoff returned by Desmond Reese is negated by a sack and then a penalty. They need to get it all the way to the 46-yard line. They're on their own 24. 4:23 to go in the game. Clock runs. Code Black has an opportunity right now, but this second down play is important. They need to keep it. They need to force what's going to be a 3rd and long. I formation. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Lacey under center. He will give it up on the delayed handoff, bouncing off left tackle and breaking another tackle. Still on his feet across the original line of scrimmage, down to the 42-yard line. That's exactly what Tuskegee wanted on that carry. Keno Loyal made a big run.
Yeah, Loyal with a good second effort that time to break the tackle and pick up the first down. More importantly, though, the clock keeps moving, so the Golden Tigers got to get back up to the line and run a play relatively soon because they are running out of time.
Under 4 minutes to go on the run of 17 yards by Keno Loyal. 3rd and 5 from their own 41 for Tuskegee. Pistol formation, high snap, Lacey gets to it, throws short left. That might have been tipped, incomplete, and it brings up 4th and 5. Boy, did that ball just slip out of his hands or what? Because
I think so, because it didn't look like anyone tipped it. It just was like a dead duck.
That would be like trying to throw a bowling ball like it was a football. You might get a couple yards on it in first and then pew, right into the ground. So this could be it. 3:38 to go in this game. Braves looking to their sideline, trying to pump up the home fans on homecoming in Pembroke. Pistol formation, a fullback and a tailback in the backfield with Kevin Lacey. 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. 4th and 5 from their own 41. Snap, dropping back to Bass. Lacey pump fakes. He still has it. Now turns the other way. Rolling to the left. Has time. Still looking. Trying to keep it alive, still on his feet. Throws off his back foot. It's caught near the first down marker. Where's the forward progress? And I think they're going to spot him short.
Yeah, looks like about a half a yard short of the first down.
And there is no review in Division II college football. The Braves offense comes onto the field. Tuskegee, a couple players lost helmets, a couple players down on the turf. They're looking to the officials for some kind of signal, or some kind of help. Looking to the sky for some kind of help from above, and all they're seeing is rain. 2 timeouts now for Tuskegee, 3 for the Braves, 3:24 as UNCP takes over from their opponent's 45-yard line. They need a couple first downs to really ice this game away. Up by 5 points, 3:24 to go, but they have the ball, and that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, and hang on to that ball is just as important as that.
Pistol formation. O'Brien has Munn, the fullback, out in front of him a little bit. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, and tailback Stanley behind him. Handoff up the middle for Stanley. He takes it off left tackle. He has some room. 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Braves! Rontonio Stanley again. Okay, so Joe, we were saying they were going to run out the clock, but what we meant they should do is score a touchdown on the next play. That's what we meant to say, right?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
28-17 with 3:15 to go, and the complexion of this game has completely shifted in the last 60 seconds. Matt Davis on to attempt an extra point. The wind is whipping, the rain is coming in. The goalposts are trembling right now, and it's not because there's a lot of noise in the stadium. High snap, kick is up, and it is straight through. Extra point good by Matt Davis, and with 3:15 to play in this ball game, the Braves have a 2-score lead. It's 29-17. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to UNCP Braves football on the Braves Radio Network.
Say, you're an overachiever and want to take an extra class. Who can you call?
The registrar.
So you don't know who your advisor is or how to register for class? Who are you going to call?
The registrar.
So you want to graduate and don't know if you can? Who are you going to call?
The registrar's office.
Get a clue on how to meet your educational goals. Call or stop by the office of the registrar.
Breathe, ladies and gentlemen. Inhale, exhale. The Braves now have a 12-point lead with 3:15 to go. And Joe, the rushing attack was so good today. Compare that to some of the stats from last year.
All right, Rontonio Stanley today, 15 carries, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. In the entire 2014 season, UNCP had 4 rushing touchdowns as a team. 3 today for Rontonio Stanley. He has been fantastic.
Matt Davis will kick off. Tuskegee looks like they'll just let this one go. Into the end zone for a touchback. A great kick there by Matt Davis. Tuskegee will take over from their own 25-yard line. They need points. They need them fast. They need them to be touchdowns, and they need 2 of them. 3:15 to go. They do have 2 timeouts. They need to go the length of the field, then onside kick, and then go the length of the field once again. It's not over yet, but Code Black just needs one more stop now.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. One more stop, get that ball back, and then you can run it out unless Stanley decides to take it in for another touchdown.
I don't think we would complain about that. I don't think anyone wearing black and gold in this stadium would complain about that.
Yeah. Really the only person who can imagine complaining is maybe Stanley, just because he'll be so winded at the end of this game from all these long runs. 38-yard touchdown, 45-yard touchdown. He's had some long sprints in this one.
Shotgun snap for Lacey. He has 4 receivers. He drops back, and he is wrapped up and sacked. Mike Keck in there leading the charge. Flag comes in late. We'll see what it's for. Did he get a hand in the face mask that time? Perhaps. And we'll see what the flag is for.
It looked like Aris Brooks initially had Lacey, then Keck came in, knocked him down to finish off for the other half of the sack. And then the flag came in, so we'll see what that is.
Looks like they're signaling a hold against Tuskegee, and
Wow.
Shane Richardson will, of course, decline that.
Yeah.
So
A
even
sack
though they
through a
held
hold.
either Mike Keck or Tajai Lyles, one of them got held. They both made it through. And they both wrapped up Lacey for a big loss on the play. The original line of scrimmage was the 25-yard line. The sack for a loss of 6.5. So 2nd and long. The clock will now run. Under 3 minutes to go in Pembroke. 12-point game. Braves trying to deliver the first loss of the season to the Golden Tigers. 2 receivers on each side. Lacey in the shotgun. Gets the high snap. Sets up a screen to the running back along the right side. He is taken down, and taken down hard, short of the original line of scrimmage. And 3rd and about 11 coming up for Tuskegee. They really need to hurry up. 2:30 to go now. Trailing by 12 points. They're deep in Braves territory, or they're deep in their own territory. They need to reverse the field. They need a big play. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Lacey in the shotgun. Play clock at 17. They need to hurry up. Here's the snap. 4-man rush for the Braves. He steps up in the pocket. He's hit as he throws. Incomplete as it falls to the turf. No flag. Brings up 4th and 11.
Yeah, that pass intended for Travis Hawkins as, well, right now this, you could pretty much say that this is the ball game right here. Of course, it's not quite over with Tuskegee still having 2 timeouts remaining, but if you don't convert here, for all intents and purposes, you got no shot.
4th down and 11 from their own 24-yard line. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Lacey in the shotgun with the running back loyal to his left. Clock stopped. And the Braves going to rush just 4. High snap, he gets to it. Flushed out of the pocket. Keck chasing him down. He wraps him up, and there's the sack. Mike Keck one more time. Taken down inside the 10-yard line. Turnover on downs. Braves will get it. And this ball game starting to look like it's about to be over.
Yeah, Mike Keck comes up with another big sack. That's now his 3rd on the game, 9 on the season for him. Just a fantastic job he's done all season long, and icing this one with a big sack right there.
As he makes his way to the sideline, Elijah Williams climbing all up on his back. The whole defense celebrating. What's really nice for the Braves is they're coming after this game. They have a bye week, so they'll get 2 weeks to really celebrate this win before hitting the road for North Alabama in 2 weeks.
And with now 9 sacks on the season for Keck, that is already a school record for a single season. Matt Turner in 2013 had 8.5 sacks.
This is the halfway point of the season, ladies and gentlemen. They still have 5 more games after this one. Pistol formation for O'Brien. As there's some motion along the line. I think that they might have got that on the wide receiver there. John Rich on the far right side jumped early, so a 5-yard false start penalty as the Braves will go from first and goal from the 9 to first and goal from the 14. There's 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go in this game. The Braves have a 12-point lead. The fact that actually they spotted him on the 9 rather than, the 10 or 11 actually kind of hurts the Braves because they can't get a first down to keep killing this clock. Handoff up the middle for Stanley. He dances forward, falling down to about the 9-yard line, so he gets those yards right back. Second down and goal from about the 9-yard line coming up for the Braves.
Yeah, can't get the first down, but they would get into the end zone, so that I'm sure dampens things, or rather lightens things up a little bit. The chance to extend this lead a little bit as, once again, the sun is come out from behind the clouds and is shining right in our eyes right now, as well as right in the eyes of the Braves bench and the home crowd, although I'm sure they don't care too much as they're about to score their second victory of the season over a top 20 opponent.
A minute 20 to play. Second down as the play clock down to 4-3. The Braves lining up in a victory formation. Patrick O'Brien takes the knee. He will need to do so one more time to kill the rest of this game clock. Well, the sun a welcome sight, and this victory even more so here in Pembroke. After a very disappointing performance last week, the Braves trailed 34-0 at halftime, dropped a 40-17 game on the road against North Greenville. There were questions abound around this football team, and they came out and answered those questions definitively against the number 17 Tuskegee Golden Tigers. We'll hand Tuskegee their first loss of the season. Game clock at 40, play clock at 7. And so O'Brien can take a knee here and wind down the rest of this game clock. Here's the snap. There's the knee. And unless Tuskegee takes a very spiteful timeout, this game is over. Both teams looking to the bench as though there might be a timeout called. And B.J. Bunn pumping his fist, jumping up and down, making his way to the sideline. The teams will meet at midfield, and that will do it. Game clock still showing 10 seconds, but this game is over. The team's shaking hands at midfield. The ball game is over. The final score, UNCP 29, Tuskegee 17. What a victory for the Braves on homecoming in Pembroke.
And I got to say, coming into this, looking at it on paper, you said for Tuskegee, UNCP was the toughest team that they had played all season long. And for the Braves, Tuskegee was going to be the toughest team they played to this point in the season. And we saw the Braves come out and thoroughly handle Tuskegee and just have a great game overall. It was good effort by the Golden Tigers. They came out a little flat in the first half. That ended up coming back to bite them. They played much better in half number 2, but it was already too late. And Rontonio Stanley taking it in for 3 touchdowns, a big reason for this victory.
Well, Tuskegee had a lead in the fourth quarter. It was 17-16 at one point. The Braves scoring the last 2 touchdowns in this game. And that's huge. The Braves improved to 4-1 on the season. The Golden Tigers dropped to 4-1 on the season. The Braves will be off next week before hitting the road for a huge, just gigantic against a top 25 opponent. The Braves might also be ranked at that point. And North Alabama could still be undefeated at that point. They're currently ranked in the top 10. That's a big road game. You'll be able to hear it right here on the Braves radio network. I'll be so excited to be able to make that trip and follow this team because this has turned into quite an interesting, fun team to follow.
It certainly has. The good defense has been really, with the exception of the first half against North Greenville, a constant the entire season. But today, we saw the offense start to grow its wings and expand a little bit. Patrick O'Brien, 22 of 32 for 230 yards, touchdown, no interceptions, over 150 yards on the ground as a team today. Just a good balanced attack and offense, defense. A little bit of trouble on special teams today, but that might have been some weather-aided problems on special teams. And really it was just a great game for the Braves, and they come away with a well-deserved victory.
The turnover battle was key. The Braves won the turnover battle 2-1. The Braves' only turnover, a carry by the tight end Zelius Morrow. I think, in terms of turnovers, that's the one kind you'll take on, kind of a weird play. The interception and the fumble in the red zone that the Braves were able to force. Huge plays by Code Black defensively all game long, and they made the plays when they needed to, especially in the fourth quarter, getting that, I guess you can call it a come-from-behind win, and they did it. 29-17 your final here in Pembroke. That will wrap up our coverage of the UNCP football homecoming game. For Joe Vasile and our entire crew up here in the broadcast booth, my name is Cameron Songer. Thank you for listening, and we will leave you with the sounds of the game.